Uh-oh. There we go. There's 6 Ages. All right. I think I gotta get the music on, though. Not exactly. I'm very bad at this game. And so yeah, we're back to 6 Ages, a game that I enjoy a lot more than I probably should because I constantly get demolished by it. And I really feel like I've not quite done this one. I know I say this all the time. Like, I feel like this one I haven't done proper justice to. I think I'm not entirely sure whether or not like a long playthrough or a long string of playthroughs would help me relearn a few things. I have been told I've got a particularly unlucky playthrough, and that while I'm making mistakes, I do sort of wind up back in that ditch. And I think one of the things that's caused a little bit of a rocky start for me is I suspect, there is something to be learned from sort of testing things out. But of course, in my own case, I think I've wound up going on the wrong track because things that probably shouldn't be happening as often, like in terms of the bad, like basically I'll do something and I get unlucky, or I make a bad decision. I'm like, okay, that was a bad decision, so I'll correct that. But when I go to correct it, the thing fails, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. And so I wind up doing some very counterintuitive things. For instance, we're very low on goats right now, and this was because the game had sort of told me that I had a surplus of goats, and this was hurting my grazing land or something like that. So I started sacrificing a lot of them, and now I have a shortage of goats. I'm actually very poor when there was really no reason for me to be. But that's also some of the fun for it. And so this is one of the reasons I keep coming back. I do need to say at the start, as is always the case with keys that have been given to the stream, I was given a key from Kit Fox Games. Specifically Victoria Tran, who, if you have not had a chance to interact with her in either the Discord or on Twitter, is an absolutely wonderful person. It's what I think one of the things that's really nice. I've maybe gotten very lucky in community managers, or maybe these probably better to put it, these businesses are very lucky to have these community managers. But these are people who are so nice that it makes me just feel like a worse person. By comparison. That's probably the wrong way to put it. But I truly can't blame, this is almost going to sound like blame. One of the things is that my email interactions with Kit Fox have always been incredibly pleasant. So this came out around the time that I was truly wall-to-wall blocked in terms of stuff that people had asked me to do. This is Kit Fox's turn to elbow somebody out of the way, because I got a game that I was really interested in and somebody reached out with a key, and I'm like, oh man, that's like, I was really excited about it. But I did say I was going to play this, and I'm like, no, we're going to do 6 Ages. So with that in mind, I've had a very disjointed playthrough of this, and I think what I'm going to do, I haven't made much progress on my private game, but I think what will happen when we put the cap on this playthrough, whenever that is, what I might do is I might shelve it for a little while until I know that I have a few days in a row, and then I'll come back to 6 Ages in full strength. I'll take all of the learning that I've done through this playthrough, and we'll put together a proper collection. Alternatively, what I'll do is I'll put it in a proper playlist. So if you're watching on YouTube, you don't have to search for the other episodes. And if you if you watch on Twitch, these things go away in 2 weeks anyway, so that probably won't be as big of a deal. But anyways, if you've not played it, this is the follow-up to King of Dragon Pass, which I still actually haven't played. I've got it installed, but I haven't opened it up yet. And this is a game where you live in this mythic world, Glorantha, which turns out to be an RPG setting. I believe Chaosium publishes it. Pretty sure it's the same people who do the Call of Cthulhu RPG. And it's very detailed, and I like this game because there's a lot going on. There's very clearly a sort of a big simulation going on in the background. You manage a tribe in this world, and you get to learn about this world through, again, the little fragments that you get, and you participate in this war between the gods, and you go on sort of these vision quests. You reenact these tales and legends. So if you're one of these people, and this definitely seems to be very well represented in terms of gaming, if you're the sort of person who likes reading myths, or you like that sort of thing, maybe if you've read Joseph Campbell or people who do commentaries on Joseph Campbell or something like that, or if you just really like the Iliad. I mean, I keep going back to like the Iliad and the Odyssey, and clearly there are other inspirations for this game. But I mean, I've got my own touchstones, right? Ovid is my absolute favorite. But it's a really rich game, and beautifully illustrated. It's one thing that I actually quite like specifically about Six Ages compared to what I've seen from King of Dragon Pass. I am very superficial in this sense, but I don't know, like the new, the nice like new look, the very modern look for this game is very attractive. And that's not to say that King of Dragon Pass is not an attractive looking game in its own right, but it's very polished, very modern, and I like it. So anyways, we are continuing on with the Star Dancer. I haven't really touched Night Shield since I opened it up. And I mean, it's been a while since you've done Star Dancer, but at least in this case, it's just a little over a month. And given the fact that the number of free days that I have in a given month isn't that many, that's actually not as long of a wait as last time. So we'll take a quick minute here to sort of get the lay of the land again, because again, even though it hasn't been as long as the last time, it would be nice to get some details about what's gone on. I'll get the advice of the council, and we'll talk a little bit about what the plans for tonight's playthrough will do. So, what's the best way for me to approach this? It's early season. I think in this case, it means that I'm not. I shouldn't be raiding. I might need to go back to the guide. I personally don't like going to guides that much, but I'm also learning that in this particular case, the combat guide has sort of helped me not it's sort of closed down the what's the best way? It's closed the gap so that when I run into things where I feel like something should... Okay, actually, here's the better way to say. When I've been hit with bad luck, and it turns out that what I was doing was a reasonable approach, and it just so happens that my, the winds of fortune blew the wrong way. That guide was particularly helpful in terms of just setting me back on the right path. So I'll probably be consulting it a few times tonight. Sorry, actually, before I go any further, I do just want to double check that I am properly tagged up. And I also forget if okay, we're good on Twitch, but did I put out a tweet? Lovely. Okay. All the good people are here. So sorry about the later. I mean, I always babble on for a bit to let people come into the stream, but I probably could have said a few more meaningful things. So let's just take the temperature in terms of the council. So lots of children. So in a few seasons, we'll have replenished our numbers. I should get an account in terms of our wealth. Actually, wealth stress, food stress, and food yield shortfall. I should double check what these and grazing stress. Okay, so everything is terrible. Is what I'm seeing. So Endaro, our current leader, I'm worried about how unhappy our people are. We can perform a venture to improve their mood. Kimka, our people are healthy. Other clans would be interested in hearing what we learned by exploring. They will be impressed and might share what they have found. I suggest a venture. We can try restoring our pastures, but if we don't want to find Busanari on the other side, we spread the Sanala revelation. We have morale stress because of the Alkothi occupation. Okay, that should be over soon, I think. And we should send out our most pious speakers to spread the word about Sanala. So I do like the idea of a venture that is about... I need to do something to get the food back. So actually, let's just take a quick look at our wealth. So 370 cattle, 740 goats, 150 horses. We'll need to send out a caravan fairly soon, or other clans will start visiting our market less often. We should establish a permanent trading route. This would be easier if we found some exotic goods. Our food stockpiles are acceptable, but we will probably be eating more than we produce over the coming year. We have wealth stress because of the Alkothi occupation. We have food stress because of the Alkothi occupation, and we have grazing stress because of many years of grazing. Market will make 65 cows worth of goods this year. We should buy more herd animals if we don't have enough, and it's making it harder to feed the clan. And we need more horses. And our crafters would make about 46 cows worth of goods in the coming year. Okay, so I definitely want to send out some trade. But I think in terms of ventures, let's figure out what we can do about the grazing. Yes, we'll restore the pastures. Pasture land was heavily eroded in spots, bare in others, and had more weeds than the grass. And Endaro had people start digging trenches to direct runoff, but it was clear that it would take at least another year of work. All right, so for those of you unfamiliar with Six Ages, this is basically how it runs. So it's a management. The best way to kind of talk about it is it's a management sim, and but mythopoeic management sim. You get these wonderful, I think it's watercolor images to set the mood. And between your actions, you're going to have sort of story events that occur. So this is a game in progress. We've had some misadventures. And let's take a look at what we've got here. So, priestesses of Irissa, the healer goddess, appear before you in a large group drawn from the most of the leaders' rider clans. In fulfillment of their holy mission, they offer to cure your sick. Later, they will come back to request that you perform a service of like magnitude for Blessed Irissa. 9 people are sick. So we can ask them to cure all, half, only a few people, or decline the offer. So this custom dates to the generation of farm traveling. Accept their gift and prepare to do a great favor in return. I shall travel with them for a while. Why bother? Our warriors are already in good shape to fight. I don't like the sound of this. It's too bad that we have no shrine for them to worship at. Our people will get better on their own, and we should do our own healing. This is interesting, actually. So, I was inclined to accept just for the improvement, but the majority of the council says to decline, and I do rather like the fact that I'm going to be deciding what to do with my resources. So in this case, we will decline. They were not offended. They hoped that we would have a shrine to the White Goddess when they returned. Do you give them a parting gift? Yes. We'll give them 5 goods. We gifted them. They seemed pleased. So we'll try and build a shrine to Irissa. In perpetuation of Irissa's glory, I am joining their healing procession. I will be back in a season or 2. You may wish to fill my seat on the circle while I'm gone. So Kimka is Zarant and worships Irissa. Well, I mean, I could live without her. I don't really need to reorganize, I don't think. Okay, late sea season. I don't think I want to be doing... So I do like the idea of building the shrine. It is a tricky question, though, in terms of... I wonder if it can tell me how much I'm paying in terms of upkeep. Because there's a side of me that wants to put the investment into some warriors as well. Okay, well, let's give it a shot. So, my current need would be sickness. Hope wouldn't hurt as well because of the dissatisfied. I think I'm actually going to build for hope, so let's... 4 goods, 2 herds. It's a little bit of a risk, I think, but we still don't know all of Elmal's blessing. Okay, yeah. Emissaries from the Jade Cold clan arrive, giving you Imperial coins worth 5 cows, but they've really visited to discuss pasturage. They recall that your ancestors were the best herders from the first clan. They started to feel the effects of overgrazing and wondered if you were as well. They have driven a small herd that they are willing to sell, since they cannot support all of their animals. They say that they have considered performing the Busanari Finds the Light ritual, but the omens have not been auspicious. So, sorry, I didn't really explain this that well. In addition to the options, so there's sort of story-driven options here, but you can actually consult the council. And what's interesting here, I actually really like this idea. And again, this is partly the political economy background, but also just because I think this is an interesting way to do a game. You have your council who have their own intentions and their own motivations. So, you can sort of think of this as sort of the lobbying phase. And what is interesting in this one, so this is going to sound probably more political than I want it to, but there's a couple, and consider this as a gameplay problem. The way that people think about lobbying day to day is very uninteresting as a game mechanic. So the idea here would be insert number of dollars, and that number of dollars gains you influence with the government. And so the idea here is that it would be some kind of, I mean, if you want to add some probabilistic element to it, maybe you'd make it like a slot machine, or maybe you're playing some sort of cyberpunk game where you're playing like an evil corporation. And so it's part of the resource management that influences a price that you need to pay. I think that's what Spinortality does. And I think what really interests me here is that if you were to consider this a model of lobbying, I actually wish more games would sort of consider doing it the way that Six Ages does, which is to say that a lobbyist is going to have, and when I say lobbyist here, I mean particularly a tribe member. So these are people that I have assigned to the council for a reason. And some of those reasons are, I want to have all the families represented, I want to have a number of the gods represented. These are not necessarily people who would be my first choice, but in the interests of the proper organization of the clan, we're going to, we're going to have these people in here. So, for instance, we kicked Ernost off because he tortured someone. But in this particular case, Ernost is useful to have on this council right now. And so each of these people has a level of expertise. They have knowledge that is very useful to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on the council. But they also have private motivations. And so I need to weigh what I think their private motivations might be relative to the information that they're giving me. And so this is a really interesting way of doing it. And you can see why other games maybe don't necessarily want to get to that level of complexity, because not every mechanic needs to be one of these things that you're twisting around in your head. Like if you're playing StarCraft, you don't want to get a small treatise on the mining of Vespene gas. But in this particular case here, it's very interesting because you'll read this and you'll say, okay, let me do it right now because I haven't taken a look at the options yet. We could say, perhaps it is time to migrate. Ask for the details of the sacred story Busunari finds the light. Offer advice on how to deal with overgrazing, or yes, things keep getting worse. So one thing that I rather like is, getting more information about lore. That might be my inclination on its own, but let's see what my council has to offer. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to specifically talk about what traits these people have. And of course, now you can see the fact that Kimka is traveling. I kind of want her advice in this case, but she's not around, so I'm not able to talk about her. So, our own experience with overgrazing means we can probably help them. Interesting. It doesn't actually show me his stat. Oh, yes, I do. So, 53 is good bargainer, good combat, good diplomacy, renowned with food. So perhaps someone who wouldn't be bad, the knowledge of food definitely lends weight. Incidentally, there are events that happen specifically to families, and so people will talk about their family's interests. Very good lore, very good magic, and worships Elmal. Kimka doesn't have anything to add because she's away from the clan. Yet again, the first division was because our herds could no longer find enough grass. Now, I would have thought that might have been perhaps it's time to migrate, but it looks like he's not offering an opinion. So Anartivus, again, doesn't have anything to say. They will offer their cows before they leave. We can discuss other issues first. So that's a particularly helpful one for me because obviously I do want to make sure I get the cows. Yandaila. Learning more of Busunari's story means that we'll be able to perform her rituals on the other side. So she is renowned for magic. It sort of makes sense that she would want the details of the sacred story. Nyalda is the Earth Mother, but her daughter Busunari is in charge of fertile pastures. So this one is sort of interesting to me because her position here, I mean, first of all, she's not actually a rock star at anything. I think this was probably an appointment just to make sure that one of the family slots was taken care of. But this is sort of independent advice. Presumably she's there for the leadership. Anernost, we will gain a better understanding of Busunari's story if we spin to her to learn it. Spin to her. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm going to ask for the details of the sacred story. They said that they would share the secret as a repayment of a favor. Why not? The most learned emissary breathed the 6 grass smokes in the story tent along with our worshippers of Busunari. Those outside could hear Busunari's songs. Before leaving, the Jade Colts ask if you wish to buy their extra cattle, 8 in all, for goods worth the same. Yes. He said that if anyone could keep those cows alive, it was the Star Dancers. We heard that the Ram Killers have been watching our relations with the Ram people. Fortunately, we have not bettered our relations with the foreigners and have nothing to fear. Alright, so looks like I didn't get a choice. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah. So I'll keep hope as the permanent blessing. So mood is gloomy. I think it tells me about the mood in the manual. Incidentally, yes, there's a full manual here, by the way. And I do highly recommend reading it, although I tend to notice if I read like top to bottom on stream, it becomes very dull. Which is not, sorry, that is not a slight on the manual, that is a slight on me. So learn more about the mythic world of Glorantha and the tabletop games and comics here at glorantha.com. Our game King of Dragon Pass also takes place in Glorantha years after. So clan screen, where are we? There we go. The clan's mood indicator gives you a rough sense of whether the people are happy with the circle's leadership or whether they fear that they are being led down the road to ruin. If the people are happy, problems that start small are more likely to stay small. If people are already angry, ill feeling can spiral out of control. Clans forgive their leaders for occasional unpopular decisions. It is repeated failure or clear signs of going against the will of the gods that are more likely to drive people to rebellion. In descending order, from happiest condition to the depths of the spirit, the terms to describe the clan mood are jubilant, splendid, happy, contented, optimistic, reserved, worried, dissatisfied, gloomy, ugly, and grim. Oh, so we have actually... anything below reserved is bad mood. So we're actually in very bad shape. And it seems like we've actually fallen. So I'm concerned about how unhappy our people are. We can perform a venture to improve their mood. But we can't. Oh, it says we can start. Alright, I will take it under advisement. Yet again, other clans would be interested to hear what we learned by exploring. They might be scour the valley for bandits. Will make our mission safer. Spread... okay, so we are currently in the fire season. So if I want to go raiding, I can. And this is the challenge. I may not actually be very well suited for raiding. Could use more warriors. We have trained warriors because we performed the combat training. Flame Singers helped us. We would be offended if we paid them back with a raid. We can raid while our crops ripen if we choose to. We're low on horses, which can make it hard to fight well. And when we have a little more wealth, we should build earthen ramparts to protect when we're raided. Let me just double check what the defeat... Okay. So the Walla Caring are on my list. I believe I will also get advice in terms of who's a good target. The Jandari are one of the weakest nearby. Okay. Jade Colts. Well, I don't really want to repay them with Flame Singer's help. Okay. So it doesn't let me raid here for some reason. Known for strong magic. Okay. Sell slaves but don't keep them. I'm fascinated by the fact that I can't go after these guys. It is across the river, so that's a small concern. Greywing, they reject the Sinala revelation. That might be a good excuse. Well, no, you know what? Let's go with the... it's renowned at combat, so let's go with what the with what our expert says. Our raiders could not find a place to cross the Black Eel River. Thousands of eels swarmed, and the horses would not go near them. Hey, Foxu, how you doing? Make a small... Let's continue scouting. Yatakan found a place that he thought was safe. Our raiders did manage to force a crossing, but Yatakan slipped on slick rocks and nearly drowned. Jari did not spot us in time, and our 10 swords and 46 bows are facing only 54 spearmen. Endaro was pleased that we outnumbered them. Still, victory would be up to the gods. So in this case, we're just going to try plundering. And let's conduct a magical ritual. And we'll do strongbow. As our priest completed the ritual, our priests completed the ritual. Our bows began to glow. As we performed our ritual, so did the Jandari. The storm clouds began to loose rain, and our archers groaned in frustration. Alright. Let's go for intimidation. Jari tried to terrify us with war whoops, but we were much more terrifying. Alright, looks like they're trying the same thing as us. So, this is going to be a time where I actually go to the... I'm a little nervous about this, so I'm tabbing into... or like in Steam. So you're going to see my mouse moving around for no reason. But let's go back to the battle tactics. So unfortunately, I didn't really get that much as far as the archers are concerned. I was really hoping to thin out their numbers. So intimidating the enemy can disrupt their actions that turn, for example, preventing them from doing a ritual. It can also lower their morale, potentially preventing them from taking aggressive options later in the fight. And if you're very lucky, they'll be so terrified that they'll run away. So we can expect a more evasive choice. So advance towards the enemy at a normal pace. Charge, rushing towards the enemy is a more aggressive choice and can disrupt their rituals. And maneuver, carefully maneuvering your forces into a favorable position. If successful, this can help you out in the melee stage. I am slightly inclined to trying maneuver, but I know this might give me a weaker position. Okay, we closed. We did lose people, though, so we had to maneuver under a devastating barrage of sling stones. Their sling stones burst when they hit with a deafening boom. So, our options here. Battle tactics. This also is called the melee phase of battle or the engage stage. At this point, your armies are locked together in combat, and you have a new set of options. So fight cleverly. Success will bring you closer to victory than the other options, but it relies more than usual on your war leader being better at combat or leadership than the opponent. Probably not a great idea if your war leader thinks the opposite number is better than them, or if they think they're evenly matched. If you've got a renowned heroic war leader, though, you should probably take this option every time it appears. Now, normally I would, but it did say that my renowned war leader slipped on a rock, so until I get certainty that we are better, I'm going to hold off. So, take risks to win, like fight cleverly. Success at this can help the chance of overall victory a lot if you succeed. However, you will also be taking more casualties with this approach, so it's not a great idea if you're getting low on uninjured people. So we do still have us. Actually, no, we lost our numerical advantage. Our elite is still stronger, but one of those guys dropping is a substantial drop. So take advantage of an opportunity for slaughter. That does not appear in the guide here, so but I am inclined to take it. Oh, here we go. These standards, others can show up like decide the fate of disabled foes or take advantage of an opportunity for slaughter. These generally lead to follow-up choices. Most of them influence morale. Some influence relations with the other clan, making them hate you more or less. I personally tend to ignore them with one exception. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I've never played King of Dragon Paths, though, so... okay, so now we know who's fighting. So Indaro is very good at combat, but that doesn't mean much. So Indaro and the fighters closest to him have managed to isolate a good number of the Jandari and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, this would take Indaro away from the main battle. What does he do? We will attack them. Indaro struck many of them down, but some escaped. So once again, so fight cleverly is not on the table anymore. Because of the fact that I don't have a very strong commander right now. Now, press the attack I'm kind of interested in. But Uncle Cranky, thank you very much for the host. Uncle Cranky says, I see no trucks or Canadian statistics sites. Yeah, and people are probably enjoying this tremendously much more. Thank you very much for that host, Uncle Cranky. Let me just tab out of here for a quick second. For those of you who don't know him, Uncle Cranky is an Australian streamer. Why can I not spell uncle? Somebody I met through Outworld, who is himself a very wonderful streamer. Most recently he's been playing XCOM 2, and what's wonderful about him is he does not consider himself particularly good at the game. But it's been really interesting to see his approach to the game. You guys know that I really love strategy games like that, and it's been really neat to see Uncle Cranky approach a game that I enjoy from the perspective of somebody who automatically isn't designed to like it. It actually gives me some really good insight in terms of how other people react to things things that I like. So definitely feel free to check them out, especially if you find that my hours don't particularly work for you. Now, Cranky, I'm going to guess you probably haven't heard of 6 Ages or King of Dragon Pass, have you? Yeah, I actually installed King of Dragon Pass, but I haven't really tried it yet. And I'm looking forward to trying it, but I obviously need to get a hand on 6 Ages. And again, this is just such a good-looking and very modern game that I want to I kind of want to I want to try and get a handle on it before I go back. So the best I can say, Uncle Cranky, it's a mythic management simulator. All right, so I want to see what's going on with this press this attack. Again, I mostly just want to see whether or not it says anything inside of the menu. So cleverly take risks to win, wait for opportunities, fight fiercely, berserk attack, fight cautiously, conserve your strength. Oh, here we go. Press the attack or hold your ground are both neutral choices that don't have an outsized impact on your numbers, casualties, or odds of victory. In other words, they're safe choices if your options seem unwise just now. You might want to stick with hold your ground if you've maneuvered successfully, though. And Berserk Attack here says, inflicts even more casualties, but you'll suffer extra casualties as well. This is something to consider if you outnumber the enemy already and have a chance through winning through reducing their numbers. I don't. Now, the one challenge that I find here is maintaining the status quo isn't necessarily great. I do have a small numeric... Well, no, I have a numeric advantage, but I don't necessarily want to throw it all on one maneuver. So let's go with press the attack and see what happens. Ouch. They fought defensively, conserving their strength. The battle began to swing their way, and Darrow said that it would be a tough battle. So let's try press the attack again. Ouch. They formed a shield wall and slowly pushed forward. It was soon over. Fighting was over quickly. Their combat magic stunned many of our warriors, and the rain they summoned weakened our bowstrings. We were driven off and had no opportunity to obtain booty. Upon using healing magic, our auxiliaries saved one warrior from dying and healed 2 of the wounded. I visited all our fields, and I'm starting to get worried. We have been raising barley on them for about 5 years now, and again, they're starting to show signs of exhaustion. We could probably wait a year, but we need to prepare the new fields. At least we can rotate some of our pasture land. All right, again, everything's coming to a head. So we're still in fire season. It's probably not a great idea for me to go raiding. So if I try a venture, I mean, looks like we get another chance here, so let's start the conversion. Eisenor led the camp in the arduous work of clearing stumps from some of our pasture land. Then it was much easier task to consecrate the newly cleared fields to Pella and Nyalda. The old fields became grazing land for our cows. Oh boy. Our herders report that the Darshame stole 35 cows in a herd raid. They were gone before our patrols could reach them. We can ill afford the loss. 35 is a lot to be losing. So, just for reference, we got 333. So that was basically 10%. So, early Earth season, time to bring in the harvest and prepare for the cold. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a herd raid, and I'm only going to take swords. So we'll bring 5, and we'll send them... Wait a minute, who did that on me? The Darshama, so let's get them back. Hey, Ego Karen, how you doing? I had a pretty crummy day at work, to be honest, but I'm really eager to be back to 6 Ages. I'm again learning humility, but we'll make the best of it. The Darshama chariots met us at their border and asked us our business. We don't know how they knew that we were coming, but we thought it best to salute them and return home instead of fighting. So mood has fallen again. I am back from my sojourn with my fellow Irissa devotees. We healed many raiders throughout the valley, and my heart is full of gladness. Okay, so good for Kimka. People are healthy. We must add more men to the circle. Our clan's virility depends on it. With a representative of the Busanari, Gamari, or Uridia on this circle, we could spend more magic helping our herds during sacred time. And yeah, it would be great if I could... It'd be great if I had a way of getting the mood up, but I don't at the moment. So I think I'm just going to try for another herd raid. Managed to sneak around the Darshama patrols and bring home 17 cows without being spotted. Excellent. What game was this for again, Ego? Was it D&D? I feel like you've said this before. I actually think I've also asked you that question before, and I feel bad that I've forgotten, but... if we ended our feud with the Sunbows, life would be more peaceful. Could use more warriors, train warriors because we perform. So the reason I'm not getting more warriors, by the way, is I want to make sure that I can maintain my I want to make sure that I can maintain my shrines. So I'm going to be doing something a little risky here and doing some herd raids in the winter. Actually. Ouch. Our warriors got caught in a fierce blizzard. They were forced to turn back. Several of them still have shivering spells. Still going for it. Yikes. Okay, so I'm never doing that in winter again. Let's try sending a... Actually, here's an interesting idea. So we wanted to get rid of the... the feud. Hates water people, they're feuding with us. They reject the Sinala. So let's sell them goods. Let's see how that works. I mean, I could be setting myself up for a massive disappointment here, but... Word from a great victory won by Ivtu, who, like Liafor and myself, gained special fire magic from Elmal, has reached us from her husband's clan. Southern Rams attacked them, fielding a superior force. Just when all seemed lost, Ivtu rode into battle, scorching them left and right. The four drums now fully understand what we gave up when we allowed her to marry outside our clan. They raise skins of Kumis not only in her name, but in ours. I have to say, I am proud of my old friend. Oh, fair enough. I actually don't know that much about tabletop role-playing. I wish I did it more, but it's always hard to find people. So I always like hearing people talk about their campaigns. Again, there is a tabletop version of this as well. Okay, Darold, a trader from the Parganosi clan, arrives with a porter and several warriors. He says that he has vowed not to return home without treasure. He has somehow learned that you have the mighty whooping rattle and wishes to trade for it. Before the circle discusses the transaction, Yandala reminds them of the treasure's property, brings good cheer when you lean on others. Each treasure is unique, but it's hard to put a value on them. Most are worth at least 40 cows. His god and our trade goddess have the same rune, but they are not related. We can always explore and find more treasures. And Artevis is on his way on trade, and obviously he is renowned for bargaining. Doesn't say much about his clan. Magical treasures are unique, but they're not all equally valuable. And how about we sell him a treasure and then follow him and steal it back? So the fact that it's something that will bring good cheer, I think in this case I'm going to offer a different treasure. Said you finished with the whole concept world and stuff. Now you just need to finish the NPC cast of around 70. Good lord. Uncle Greg says you got to prep for that tonight. Thanks for reminding me about your responsibilities. What are you doing? I feel like you've said you're doing D&D, or maybe this is just the only RPG I know. But I've heard you talk about it on stream before. All right, let's offer another treasure. Aids in curing the sick. Prehistoric mask that aids rituals drawing on the power of spirits. Grants divine blessing to worshippers of Elmal. Helps us prevail in battle. Grants divine blessing to worshippers of Irissa. I think actually the spoke shattering bell, because it involves using it after defeating wheels. So let's try to use that one, because I haven't really gotten the most out of it. It offers 44 cows worth of goods. I would rather let's accept it. Darrow gave thanks to Isares, the ram trade god, and departed. So obviously now I need to turn these goods into something else. I did not know that RuneQuest was based on this. Interesting. So I could try... Actually, no, here's the answer. We'll add more swords with that. So full-time elite warriors fight with lance and the sword. They require a horse and annual gifts worth 1 cow. So in this case, we'll form promising riders and from outside the clan first. Okay, 4 more warriors. And summary time. So last year, 17 babies were born. We initiated 22 children as adults. The clan has 7 fewer people, 34 fewer head of cattle, and 11 fewer horses than we did last sacred time. Our crafters produced 43 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 68 cows worth of goods. Maintaining our shrines took 15 cows and goods worth 30 cows. The seers said that any children born this year would have great destinies. And we are known for finding secrets Hyalor left before he died. So Pasture's magic will help us raise more livestock. We're getting short of horses, cows, and goats. Members of the Zarant family always have great destinies. Leave a few points in reserve. This can help us boost all sorts of magic during the year. And Artemis is obviously traveling. Often it's better to concentrate our magic in a few areas. Of course, all rituals are useful. Overall, other rider clans hold us in little regard, nor are they impressed by our small herds. Unfortunately, no other clan believe in the Sanala revelation, and ritual magic will make it easier to ask Inilla and the other gods to share some mysteries. We'll do just a recap of the last turn. So we were unable to bless our clan's health during Sacred Time. The Zarhawks continued to increase their large herds. Indaro began trying to restore our overgrazed pastures, but it was clear that it would take at least another year of work. Irissa priestesses came to offer us healing. We declined their kind offer, but they were not offended. We gifted them, and they seemed pleased. Jade Cold emissaries came to discuss overgrazing. We asked them for the details of the Busanari Finds Light. They agreed to tell us as a favor. Yatakan was wounded, leading our raiders across the Black Eel River. We raided the Janadari and eluded their patrols, and Darrow found himself able to kill many of the foe. He struck many of them down, but some escaped. We were driven off and had no opportunity to obtain booty. Our leading farmers noted that our fields were starting to show signs of exhaustion. We cleared the fields and held a ceremony for the Barley Goddess and Earth Mother. The Darshame raided us for 35 cows. We abandoned our herd raid against the Darshame because they spotted us. We stole 17 cows from the Darshame. We were unable to conduct a raid against the Darshame due to a winter storm twice, and we sold the Spoke Shattering Bell for silver. So, let's... Fields, pastures, crafts... Diplomacy. I kind of want to put some in health, but, well, I'll do 1 health and keep 2 in reserve. Our caravan is back from the Sunbows. Although our reception was barely civil, Sunbow traders were willing to accept our first caravan to them. We traded 40 cows worth of goods for 12 cattle and 8 horses. That's a lot, but... 2 nights ago, one of our herders saw a star falling to the far south. We performed a divination. Apparently, it died when its followers abandoned it. Everyone can feel it, but I will say it anyway. This is shaping up to be a cold, dark year. The barley was slow to sprout, and the sun is frequently covered by a veil of haze. A powdery ash has been falling on the fields, sometimes choking them. I can't remember the last time the sky wasn't overcast. Once again, the God's War impacts us mortals. I'm not sure exactly what we can do about it, but I am worried. The farmers are right. I have gone through the records and the evidence is clear. The valley has gotten colder since we moved here. The gods of cold and storm seem stronger than ever. Frost is damaging our crops, and the cows and goats don't give as much milk. Wild plants are harder to find too. We still need to make sure to keep up the sacred time rituals that produce food, and ask the goddesses and gods for their blessings as well. Alright, people are fairly open-minded. They're healthy. So there is a side of me that wants to try improving the clan's mood. Oh yes, and we also have spirits, so allow more fighters, keep raiders from being detected. Alright, so I have nothing to add. We are not being helped by any of our sworn spirits. If we offer some magic, we won't be wasting our time bargaining with a reluctant spirit. I can't think of anything else. We can persuade a spirit to help for at least a year, probably several. If we offer clan magic, the spirit will always agree to 2 years service, likely more. If we bargain or offer magic, we never know exactly how long the spirit will help. It won't go back on its word though, and Raven can help us, and we don't even have to offer up a cow. So in this case, I think I am going to do just a straight persuade on this one. Ernos managed to persuade Raven to help the clan for several years. We need the help of the gods to ensure people are fed. We do have sufficient food for now, but that won't last if we don't take action. I reckon the clan will produce less than we eat over the year ahead. We could ask for Anila's Rootle blessing. I'm definitely not doing Rootle. Clan mood is ugly. All right. Let's try for a sneaky raid. We managed to sneak around the Grey Wing patrols and steal 20 cows without meeting any trouble. Still ugly. Alright, it's the fire season, so this is where I should be raiding, but I'm actually going to start with magic right now. Oh, you know what? I don't think I actually put that much into magic. Yeah, we actually have, so we have all of the, the boosts that, oh no, actually, calf blessing would be good. I could probably build a, so many things to get. Calf and milk blessings both sound good, so let's try calf blessing. I have no specific advice, can't add to what's been said. If we didn't devote clan magic to rituals during sacred time, so we should make a larger sacrifice now. Can't add, nothing to add. The gods don't always answer our requests, but a sacrifice worth at least 6 cows should attack Busanari's attention. Twice as much or more would be better. Alright, so in this case we're going to go for calf blessing. We're going to put 12 goods in and hope for the best. Our sacrifice was favorably received. It feels like we had no fire season this year, and now it is snowing. The harvest is not yet in, but it was a bad one. Alright, so I'm reasonably happy that we kept enough people here, although we're still going to be short on on numbers. We're being raided by the Tor Ashday. There are 7 chariots with another 105 on foot. Luckily, our patrol spotted them, and 19 swords and 78 of the bows met them. Yadakan noted that the Tor Ashday chief was daring in battle and that his clan disrespected our might. They might feel emboldened to use riskier tactics. So we'll spend 1 and let's just settle for... Actually, we'll kill as many as possible. Magical ritual. And this time we'll do Battle Glow. Started performing a ritual, but the Tor Ashday sent out a herald. Do you agree to parley? Yes. They marked our emissaries and our clan. Respond in kind. Perhaps your chief should be leading his chariots instead of using them as shields. You must worry that the gods turn away from you. We know that you will not fight with honor. There's a reason Samnel chose to spend his days watching the dung-dropping side of a horse. Yeah. They replied in like manner. After several more rounds of insults and taunts, we broke off the parley. Yadakan was disappointed that we had not been able to provoke them. Alright. Magic ritual. Battle Glow. The Tor Ashday war bells scared even our magicians. Interesting. Still try it. Our magicians were able to complete the Battle Glow ritual in enough time that we were ready to meet the Tor Ashday advance. As our priest completed the ritual, our warriors felt a warm glow, as if they had drank several cups of kumis, but focused on victory. So in this case, I'm going to... It did say that they were going to be aggressive, so in this case, I will try the... I'm going to try the more defensive choices, and I think conserve your strength is the right answer, but let's just see what it says. So if you do this, you'll take much fewer casualties, but inflict fewer as well. This is an option to consider if you're low on people, and you're at risk of loss by attrition. I technically am not. So let me just see what Hold Your Ground does. Actually, let's take advantage of an opportunity. Elara and her fighters closest to her have managed to isolate a large group of Tor Ashday and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, the enemy are in a defensive position. What does she do? Attack. The Tor Ashday cried out for mercy, but Elara struck down many of them. Okay, good news. Fight cautiously, I feel like... Right, no, that's fewer casualties. Now again, we do have the... we do have a numerical advantage. So let's try Fierce. Nope. They pressed their attacks, shaking our morale with their resolve. The battle began to swing their way. Yadakan said that he thought he and the enemy leader were well matched. Now wait for opportunities. This is an odd one. Okay, less likely to win, so in this case, let's fight cautiously. Endaro sees a new force riding to join the fight on the side of the Tor Ashday clan. Their insignia mark them as belonging to the Arrowstone clan. How does Endaro respond? Call your bow to concentrate fire on the new arrivals. Call your forces to maintain focus against the Tor Ashday. Call your swords to charge the new arrivals. Have Yandalis send spirits to confuse their approach or threaten them with reprisals. Let's get the spirits in on this one. Hey, Otters Hold Hands. Good to see you. The Arrowstones fled as wasp spirits assailed them. Seeing their allies sent packing by powerful magic stung the Tor Ashday morale. So let's try Fierce again, just because we've got a little bit of the upper hand and we have the numbers. Ah, come on! They fought more fiercely, forcing us to fall back slightly. It was soon over. It was a bitter fight. We were driven off the battlefield, and the Tor Ashday drove off 21 cows and 11 horses. They stole 12 cows worth of loot. It would have been worse without our fortifications. Using healing magic, our auxiliaries kept 4 warriors from dying and healed 4 of the wounded. Our herders report that Darshame stole 26 cows in a herd raid. They were gone before our patrols could reach them, and we can ill afford the loss. Yeah, so that's, again, we've basically been losing livestock every year. Okay, Who's weak? Not the Paralyuni. I'm gonna bring some bigger numbers, but that could potentially have some risks. We're spotted by Paraloon patrols, and our 12 swords and 66 bows are fighting 4 charioteers and 99 footmen. Alright, this is going to be a hard one. Let's start with a skirmish to try and balance out these numbers. Ooh, not that many. We followed the Paraluni as they performed some sort of ritual. The Paraloon bows took a radiant glow. So in this case, let's do a charge to neutralize the skirmish advantage. We charged only to discover that we were fighting in poor terrain. Let's take advantage of an opportunity for slaughter. Endaro and the fighters closest to him have managed to cut off a good number of the Paraluni and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, the enemy are in a defensive position, so again, we'll attack them. Paraluni cried out for mercy, but Endaro cut down many of them. So let's do press the attack. Wheel nobles strike ritual poses on their rattling death carts. Yatakan feels rumbling in his bones. The chariots radiate with the dread blessing of the wheel god Samnal, striking fear into the hearts of your warriors. If left unchecked, this magic will take a terrible toll on your side. How does Yatakan respond? So we can lead your side in mocking song, Samnal Horse Thief. Leap over a chariot, taking a sword swipe at the noble who rides it, and ride around the chariots brandishing only a whooping stick. So I do like the idea here of something a little bit more combat oriented, given the fact that he's renowned. So let's leap over a chariot, taking a sword swipe at the noble who rides it. Yatakan made the leap splendidly, landing a crashing blow on the noble's helmet. Our warriors roared with fiery glee and galloped headlong for the foe. So I don't think I'm ready for a fight fiercely yet. I think press the attack is probably what I want. Wait for opportunities is going to give me that's going to put me on the back foot, which I don't want to do. And I'm not quite ready to be passive either, so... Jesus Christ. They screened their chariots with footmen, slowly pushed forward. Victory now appeared in their grasp. Yatakan said that perhaps that they had gotten lucky, so... Let's carry on. Nice! We fought ferociously, but we pressed them back. It was soon over, so that is a much-needed win. It was a bitter fight. Their combat magic was greater than ours, but in the end it did not matter. We drove the Paraluni from the battlefield and were able to plunder their lands. We captured 9 cows. Man, we always get wrecked whenever we get raided. With their careful attention, our auxiliaries kept 4 of our warriors from dying and patched up 8 of the wounded. Succeeding at the daring feat taught me a thing or two. I'm sure I could brilliantly employ similar stunts the next time that we make war. Our herders report that we sent nearly all our warriors to raid the Paraluni. The Darshama clan crossed our border and stole 11 cows. So that was a net loss despite the fact that we won. Fordrum emissaries petition you for help. Your friends in the Jade Colt clan have been squeezing them past the point of endurance. They've whooped at us, stolen horses and cattle, and pressured our trading partners. We even suspect them of laying a curse on us. Just now they attacked us, killing 7 warriors and wounding 9 others. They will not listen to us, but respect you. Please convince them to aid us, to let us alone. So, use of spirit magic should be popular. Okay, that's one that I want to weigh rather heavily, because I need to get the mood up. We could say Osra asked her brother Verlero for help and said, certainly for grass-covered anvil and that fleet horse of yours. That is how he got his scar. Sorry, let me say that again. Osra asked her brother Verlero for help. He said, certainly for a grass-covered anvil and that fleet horse of yours. That is how he got his scar. Why favor the weak over the strong? Because we're weak. The Jade Colts make fine drums and thus deserve our loyalty. Of all the clans in the valley, these 2 like us best. We don't have much to lose here, and Jade Colt Shaman insulted my mother once. Yeah, well, Ernast I don't trust at all, so... Oh, I forgot. As because I'm bad at the game, is that why everybody thinks that they can tell me how to play this one? Is this the new rule now? Sorry, I keep forgetting how my channel works. So I do like the idea of aiding with spirit magic because of the help with the help with the morale. Shamans perform a long and taxing version of the ritual. Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. Our shamans approached the confusion rocks, heating them with fire and throwing the sacred seeds upon them. They attracted beguiling spirits who agreed to distract and vex the Jade Colts for the next while. The Four Drum emissaries expressed gratitude. It was not peace, but would give them time to recover. Just so can I be clear? I'm allowed to keep playing the game now, or do we want to get this all out of the way? I might point out that it's the Darshama who were raiding me, and that I currently don't have a feud with them. But if anybody else wants to tell me stuff that isn't correct and is taking away my ability to play this game and learn it, I figure we can probably get that all out of the way right now. And when you guys are done, I can go back to playing the game. We good? Okay. I'm still short on ventures. I'm at least back to gloomy. And my inclination... I do also need to worry about food, but I think So I need to send out trade for food. I need to steal back livestock. Okay, so I know the ventures I can do during winter. We'll get a quick herd raid in. Christ almighty, we managed to keep hidden until the last moment to steal 9 cows without being spotted. How you doing, Johnny Big Time, my favorite streamer? So I'm shouting out Johnny Big Time. He's taking a little bit of a break from streaming, but Johnny Big Time is a wonderful man. He's recently playing Death Stranding, but I don't know if he finished it, but I believe when he's back, it's a new thing. But again, Johnny is somebody who makes me very happy to see in chat, has a wonderful sense of humor, very charismatic, and a very entertaining guy. I've always sort of felt that he is someone who, but for like a quirk of streamer fate, is one of these people you would sort of see on the Twitch front page and carry on. He does a really good job of keeping a lot of energy in his cast. He tends to play very engaging games and is able to sort of keep the momentum going. It's actually very funny. Johnny and I... Okay, this is obviously my perspective of this. I think Johnny and I work well together playing games. I really enjoy playing games with him. There's been a couple that didn't quite work, but I always felt that was more about the game rather than Johnny. Or specifically the chemistry of Johnny and I. But the funny thing is that we have almost completely opposite tastes in games. So for instance, I couldn't imagine Johnny playing Six Ages. Even though I think that's a really good game, it's definitely not the sort of thing that he tends to pick up. But despite that, whenever we do get a chance to co-op something together, we haven't played a lot of competitive games, and that I think would also be really interesting. But like I said, especially, in fact, I would argue even more so with streamers that are currently on a break right now. I strongly recommend that you follow them, simply because where it is possible that you might happen across them, or I might give them a host at the end of the stream or something like that. For somebody like Johnny, who really is worth checking out, he is somebody who, because it's going to be a while between now and when he streams next, I'm assuming, it's not that I don't do his schedule for him or anything, the chance that you will forget or miss out on him is a little bit higher. So for that reason, I recommend him to you. Also, I'm going to take a quick second here. I was meaning to do this a little bit sooner, but no problem. I like to think if I say nice things about you, it'll make you come back sooner. I also want to take a quick minute here. I'm trying to be a little bit better at this because I think it's one thing for me to say, hey, this game is, I was given a key for this for promotional purposes and whatnot. But I've definitely learned, like, in terms of people watching the channel or watching YouTube or any of these other details, I've definitely learned, like, reducing the amount of friction to watching or to taking a certain action is particularly helpful. So for those of you who do want to, to check this out, I just put the link to 6 Ages Ride Like the Wind in chat. If you like this enough, or you're a fan of King of Dragon Pass, or otherwise just think that this is the best thing that you've ever seen, obviously you can click on that and buy it right away. If you're not at the point where you want to buy it, please do consider wishlisting it. Wishlisting costs absolutely nothing. But number one, it communicates to the developer that you are interested in that game. Number two, it also makes it easier to get in touch with you. It usually costs developers to send out mailing list stuff. So in the particular case of Steam wish lists, if they do a sale, if they add content, and there is an expansion coming for this, I keep forgetting the name, but they bring it up in the blog a couple of times. Definitely the game is... the game is still being added to, and so those updates now get communicated through Steam as well. And basically, it's a way of also signaling to people that you know that this is a game that's interesting and maybe they want to be checking on their own. So in this case here, a wish list means quite a bit, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And obviously we're all very busy, so you can have a billion things in your wish list. Obviously that's up to you. But I do recommend, if there's things, especially games like 6 Ages, which don't come along very often, these are things that I really do want to go the extra mile and encourage people to engage with. So, emissaries from the Black Spear clan give you incense worth 11 cows, but they have really come to talk about the troubling increase of chaos in the valley. They mention bleeding cheese, 6-legged boars trampling the gardens, and insolent teenagers. Tarogang, their chief, wants to know your response. Without chaos fighting magic, it can be hard to strike a blow against chaos. Umath's rebellion against Yelm was the first sign of chaos entering the world. I was given my gift so that I could burn chaos in divine fire. Chaos is a force that could destroy the entire world. They want our help, but they aren't necessarily counting on it. Chaos is pretty much everyone's enemy, and no Desano has ever been seduced by chaos. So I think we'll say together our warriors will hunt and destroy chaos, and that's partly just because Yadakan wants to do it. So they took little convincing. Who will lead the ward band? Yadakan. And how many warriors do you send? Let's go. We'll go hard. It took a couple of weeks, but the hair on the back of Yadakan's neck stood up, and he knew that they had found their quarry. After a creature like a giant squirrel with many tentacles had snatched one Blackspear warrior, we slew it with fiery arrows. The Blackspears praised our help. Okay, still gloomy. And we are still in the Earth season, so... I think I'm going to do another herd raid. I'm going to try and bring 8 swords this time. Darshama patrols detected our herd raid, and our swords are facing 6 charioteers and 10 footmen. Let's go for intimidation. This is going to be a very hard fight, but we may still be able to pull it out. Intimidate the foe. Our war whooping did not halt the Darshama charge, and they seemed, although they seemed to slow as they approached us. So I pretty much have to conserve my strength on this one. So cool. They tried to stand fast, but we pressed them hard. It was soon over. We didn't lose anyone on that. The clash ended quickly. Their magic was greater than ours, but we weren't daunted. We drove the Darshame from the battlefield and were able to plunder their pastures. We captured 22 cows and 4 horses. A little bit of welcome success. So you catch 4 young huntsmen of the Jade Colts poaching on your land. When caught, they say that they wandered here in pursuit of game on their own and were told not to come here by their elders. So could use some cows about now. I don't like that choice though. The Jade Colts are friends, and I definitely need more friends. Still for West Clan burn poachers in fire cages. He was feared, but not loved. The Jade Colts are wary of us, and they may be surprised and grateful if we let their boys go. The boys will be worth more if we take the risk of holding them. 20 cows is 20 cows. They'll give us half the ransom unbidden if we let them go with no hard feelings, and everyone responds well to scolding. I don't trust Ernost at all, so the majority opinion that I don't immediately reject says let them go. So people said that the clan circle was wise to show leniency. Jade Colt emissaries arrived a few days later with gifts to thank us for showing kindness where hardness would have been justified. Okay. Still bad mood all around. So it's the dark season, time for ventures in my opinion. So first thing we're going to do is try and improve the... So recruiting clan members would be good to get my numbers up as well, but let's start with... So we can improve clan morale by holding games, festivals, storytelling, etc., or by holding a feast. Now, I think entertainment is preferable here because I'm also short on food. So let's go entertain. Although Endero tried to raise clan spirits, he did so in a way that reminded people of their troubles, and they felt worse. We no longer had the food from the Golden City feasts. More harmony magic might have helped, he said. Nice. Stork spirits have stopped protecting us against fallen lampreys. They could come back at any time, but perhaps we'll be lucky. Darkness manifestations strike without sense or warning. Yikes. Okay. Another venture. And this is a tough one because I do want to try and improve my my grazing. But I do also want to try and improve morale and also, get more horses and whatnot. In this case, I think I'm going to go for restore pastures because food is a rather essential element. The workers were disappointed when they saw that previous work had been overgrown by stinkweed. They did what they could, but Isonar couldn't truthfully say that our pastures were closer to being what they were. Oh boy. Members of the Parl Un clan have maimed one of your young warriors, Chidoro. Charioteer nobles caught Chidoro, dragged him onto one of their fast-moving carts, and blinded him with a punishing solar bolt. They say they threw him from the cart so the rest of us could behold the shame they'd inflicted. Chidoro, who will never fight again, says he wishes to rise to the sky. This means stepping into a sacred pyre to be burned alive. He would then rise as smoke into the stars to fight alongside the gods there. So this is definitely a high-risk one, but I am inclined to attacking the charioteers in this case. So we could say his injuries are severe, but we should heal him, but it will be difficult and costly. Sacrifice goods worth at least 10 cows or tax the spirits. Hyalor is of divine blood, but wheels do not follow him and so deny his truth. Only Orisa can heal him. Successful attack will make Parl Uni fear us, which is useful in more ways than one. Magic could grow his eyes back and let us stoke his pyre with the bodies of other useless persons. Let's go for an attack. We're going all in. Our archers filed over only half-heartedly as the Parl Uni dismayed by their war bells. We are now out of arrows. Advance! Parl Uni hit us with barrage after barrage of missiles as we advance, so we are wounded. Take an opportunity for slaughter. So this is Indaro. Indaro and the fighters closest to him have managed to isolate a large group of Paral Uni and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, this would take Indaro away from the main battle. What does he do? Well, Indaro isn't essential to the main battle, so we will attack them. Dude got drunk, fell into a bramble patch, and had to invent a story about why he was blind that didn't make him sound like a buffoon. Okay, so we've evened out the numbers. The Paral Uni cried out for mercy, but Indaro struck down a good number of them. By the way, I believe the elites are worth something like 5 units, so we have the better numbers, but I've definitely learned that that can turn. So let's go press the attack. I'm not quite ready to start throwing bodies at the problem, but I'm feeling strong enough. Okay, good. They fought ferociously, but we pressed them back. We gained the upper hand. Yadaken said that only the gods could say for sure, but our combat abilities seemed better than theirs. So let's do fight cleverly if we're better. Yeah, we got it. We pushed forward as they tried to conserve their strength. It was soon over. It was a brief but bloody battle. We drove the Paral Uni from the battlefield and were able to plunder their lands. We captured 20 cows and 7 horses. We took 5 cows worth of plunder. And of course, we might suffer the effects from sending the whole clan in, but it is during the winter season, so I'm kind of counting on that protecting me. We bested the Paral Un clan, taking more than an eye for an eye. Chidoro accepted that we had taken what was due to him and settled into a new life as a crafter. A successful attack will ease... okay, we have already got this. Yeah. Our cattle tenders report that when the warriors were away raiding, the Darshama clan brazenly rolled their chariots across our lands and stole 11 cows. So storm season is uncertain. We've already done our ventures. So where are we? Okay, we're okay for food. We've got a ton of goods. I need to be working on that. So let's send... Actually, here's one thing I'm going to do. As a whole, other rider clans think poorly of us, nor are they okay. Yeah, we could use more warriors, but I'm not quite ready for that. Send an emissary to the Sunbone. Known for their many shamans, hates water people, their chief Menok. They're feuding with us. They don't sell slaves, and they reject the Sanala revelation. I'm going to bring 30 goods. Oh, actually, the flame... It says the flame singers would be better. Okay, so in this case, we'll bring 15 goods. Although it was supposed to be a secret while I was trading with the Jade Colts, I learned that the Paral Uni have sworn to destroy us. We can consider them to be feuding. We should make sure of our blessings from the gods. Well, I mean, that's fair. We have been... does say we need more warriors, so let's add more. A delegation from the Nar Onon clan announces itself on your clan boundary. They have come on behalf of their allies, the Paral Un clan, who you have been subjecting to repeated assaults. Make peace with our allies, their diplomat says, or we will show you what it is like to wither against a merciless and fearsome foe who never stops. When asked, they clarify that they are asking for a truce, not an end to the feud. Token tribute will soothe the sting of capitulation. I'm okay with that. When Zenegar and Basakan allied, even cruel Stelfor took note. We don't want to fight them. Everyone has a price. They're all bluster. When a bully pecks at you, peck back. I actually rather like the idea of the few cows a year. They said we did not understand the peril of our situation. Ioga said that it could be hard to break the certitude of a well-armed clan. Interesting. Win them to your side. Do you offer a gift? Yes. They took offense at our attempt to befriend them. Their allegiance could not be traded for as if it was a goat or a length of braid. Ioga said that it would be hard to ask clans to take actions that would bring them into disrepute. I am inclined to say my general is the... I have to thank you for turning you onto this game. It's better than Theas 2, if not Thea. I'm not actually familiar with that. I'm really glad that you like it, though, Lord Prettybeard. My regret is that I've not been spending more time with it. One thing I do kind of wish is that I could get some information in terms of the relative strength. Oh, actually, there we go. So... Actually, you know what? It's not even worth considering. We will accept. It is shameful, but my general is going to be the one who's the deciding factor on this. So, our warriors said that we had taken the only wise course. Then our Onai fielded a much tougher force than the Paraluni. Your emissary, Yandala, nears the Flame Singer village. The Flame Slingers are your allies. She brought 15 cows worth of goods to present as gifts. Let's call in a favor. Oh, I was hoping for the intercession, but let's ask for livestock. Della seeks a gift of cows from the Flame Singers. The customary number of cows granted. Let's ask for 25. Said they cannot spare the cattle, for their fortunes were bad. I always hear that. Last year, 17 babies were born. We initiated 21 children as adults. The clan has 7 fewer people, 9 more head of cattle, and 13 more horses than we did last Sacred Time. Our crafters produced 43 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 64 cows worth of goods. Maintaining our shrines took 15 cows and goods worth 30 cows. So I really do need to be investing this now. Our seers spun to a field of sunflowers. This meant our foragers would be able to gather much food this year. Okay, that's good to know. I should probably take advantage of that. We are known for finding secrets Hyalor left before he died, and Raven frightened other spirits into giving magic to the clan. However, Ernost frightened the children, croaking ominously. So, fields, pastures, Try harmony. I'm actually going to try and go harder on the rating this time, I think. You know what? I'm going to throw it into diplomacy as well. So this is not really leaving a lot in reserve. But I have a plan. So, I have fantastic news about Enartivus. Thanks to the trips to local fairs and heartfelt offerings to Akarna, his ability to drive a hard but fair bargain ranks well above any ordinary man's. Blind Prophet said that this land would be destroyed by dragons. The signs were very certain, but he did not know when this would occur. I am not going to lose sleep because of these tidings. Emissaries from the Blackspear clan offer you a gift of amber worth 7 cows, but the main reason for their visit is to discuss how the world grows colder. They know that you can still read the star charts and have insight into the future. It has been getting harder to grow some of the sacred herbs, and the dark season is hard on the herds. What do the elders say? Oh, thanks for that, Lord Prettybeard. I'm just going to open that in a tab now so I don't lose it. Okay, Endaro says King Endaro does have a certain ring to it. When Orlanth murdered Yelm, he not only robbed this world of his light, but his warmth. If there were a better place to move to, Zarlan would have seen it. A kingdom would be good for trade, but making one would be costly. Our sacrifice may seem insignificant, but it still helps. We'll have to come up with new answers since the old ones aren't working. And last fire season was very hot. They're full of it. Let us perform a joint sac. See, this is the thing. The last time we recommended the riders should form a kingdom to pool our resources, this resulted in a pretty angry response. Let's do the joint sacrifice. They declined, saying that they had not brought an appropriate sacrifice. Yandala thought that it was just a polite excuse. Before leaving, the Black Spear visited, shares news of distant clans. Okay. So we're preparing and sowing the fields. So let's do foraging. Don't send any bows. We'll maybe do 3. A pair of young herders spot strange figures in the wooded scrubland adjoining your pastures. We could not see them well, the older boy says, but just knowing that they were there. Elcanu, thank you very much for the host. And hello everybody from Elcanu's stream. Let me just get a quick shout out here. So I know a lot of you are French speakers, and I must apologize. I am not bilingual. I'm trying. I'm not getting... Work should be giving me second language training, and unfortunately it hasn't been. So I've not really made that much progress, and as Elcanu knows, I only get to see his streams very sporadically, so I don't know. I did see that you were streaming tonight, but I saw that you were streaming right as I was getting ready to do my own, so I don't know what you were playing. In any case, I see there are a lot of you from Elcanu's channel, so thank you very much for that. I completely understand if you are not French speakers, but I will make a small argument here as to why this is an interesting game and you should check one out, either wishlist it on stream or follow it on Twitch. This is published by A Sharp, which I believe is based in Tacoma, Washington, but it is published by Kit Fox Games, and Kit Fox Games is based in Quebec, which of course is a French-speaking province. Well, it's a bilingual province, but obviously it is a very high concentration of French speakers. So I hope that is enough of a sales pitch to appeal to the local group. But for those of you who don't know Elcanu, he's a wonderful streamer. I can in fact recommend him to those of you who don't have any capacity in French, because he is very expressive and he is very good at communicating non-verbally. And on top of that, he's got a great love of both old and new games. In fact, he's got one of the best tastes in games that I know. So even if you don't necessarily follow what's going on in chat, and again, I don't want to encourage people to kind of come in and speak English in a French-speaking chat, because one of the wonderful things about Elcanu is that there's an indication of very high-quality talent in languages other than the one that I use the most. You don't necessarily lose a lot watching Elcanu play, especially too because a lot of games their localization is subtitles, so in this case you'll probably be able to understand the game. And then in terms of the commentary with Elcanu, again, because he has got sort of this natural presentation ability, you're sort of able to follow the gist of what's going on. So he's a streamer I highly recommend. In fact, if you're looking to become a better streamer, I would recommend checking him out, simply because you can really learn, like when you remove the ability to understand everything that's being said. I mean, this won't work if you're a French speaker, obviously. If you remove the ability to understand what's being said and you just focus on how much is being communicated alone, you actually start to pick up on some of the mannerisms and some of the techniques that really work. So Elcanu is a top recommendation. One of the first things I saw him play was Satellite Rain, which I enjoyed tremendously and wound up buying because of his stream. But on top of that, there's a couple of extra ways that you can learn. And he's also very kind in sending along viewers who don't necessarily get... Et les canus qui sont là, go follow System Shock. Merci Elcanu. I was thinking that your English accent is very understandable, so it's probably good for people to learn English. And yeah, no problem at all. I think Johnny and Uncle Cranky are going to feel a bit mad that their shout-outs weren't quite as elaborate, but it's been a while since I've been able to properly sing the praises of El Canu, especially after recently seeing a stream of his. I got to see him play The Witness. So, always a good time. So, by the way, have you played Six Ages or King of Dragon Pass at all, El Canu? For those of you who want to check out this game, that's the Steam page in there. A pair of your young herder spots strange figures in the wooded scrubland adjoining your pastures. We could not see them well, the older boy says, but just knowing that they were there made us want to turn and run. Trying to look at them made our heads dizzy. They were blurry and dark, and something about them crawled. The shamans of the Antler Society say that they feel an odd sense about the incident and volunteer to investigate. Okay, this is a neat one. So this is kind of a mythic management sim. So here I've got my council who have their own interests as well as the interests of the clan at heart. I have had a particularly rough run of this one, but it's a very well done game, and I'm kind of looking forward to a fresh start. Just so I can take another crack at it and learn some of the lessons from here. But the other thing is that I was given this key for the promotional purposes, so I don't like sitting back and just playing the thing privately more than I stream it. So I kind of want to get a good, I want to put an end to this story here, and then I'll maybe in the interim get some more practice in. So Endaro can help call in Elmal, because he worships him. Kimka, I never heard of such beings. Yadakan, the warrior, send warriors. Those antlers aren't prepared to fight what they might find out there. In Artevis, only antlers can deal with this. Yandala, who probably is a little bit better equipped, given the fact that she's, renowned as a shaman. Drawing on spirits will not unduly tax us now. To be sure of success, divine rituals require sacrifices. This is nothing to worry about now. And Ernost says sending antlers will reveal more about them than about the boogeymen out there. Yeah, I think I will actually. Well, no. See, it says call on for protection. So let's send warriors. I think it'll be straight 5 swords. We'll bring a couple bows. Yadakan spotted something in the woods, but when the warriors approached, something strange happened. They found themselves in another place, hours later, with no memory of any encounter in the wild lands. They had blisters on their necks, and Yadakan's eyebrows were falling out. Our clan is falling apart. Okay. Food is low, so let's... I wasn't originally going to do this, but let's do a ritual. Oh no, ritual is... that's not what I need. We're going to do a sacrifice for milk blessing. That or I can build another shrine. Horsebreaker might be nice as well. Oh no, Rootle, because that's going to give us the advantage on top of what we already had. So I think they said at least 6 cows. Worthy gift for Anilla would be 7 cows of goods or livestock. A larger gift would be more worthy. Yeah, so we'll do the recommended 7. It is very nice music. Anilla was not moved by our sacrifice. Illyra noted that no worshipper of Anilla served on the circle, which would have made the sacrifice easier. We had not performed sacred time rituals to help our sacrifices. Fair enough. Foragers and I have returned from the northwest. It took longer than in the past years. The world really is getting chillier, but we found an entire field of fire fruit in season, as well as many baskets of earth cherries, and I found huge eggs, though I can't say if they were from giant birds or some sort of lizard. We loaded the travois and brought back food to feed the clan for a season. I'm actually mildly inclined to do more foraging. We kind of need to raid, though, so I believe we still have Raven hiding us. So we'll do a raid. We're not going to commit too much. Yeah, so let's go after the Darshama. We're spotted by the Darshama patrols, and our 12 swords and 47 bows are facing 12 charioteers and 105 footmen. Yadakan was worried about how many of them there were. This is going to be hard. We still... Actually, survival is probably what we want here. So let's do the magic ritual. And we'll do Firehoof to try and balance out the numbers. As our priests completed the ritual, the hooves of our horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready to attack. We were able to finish the ritual, but we were not quite ready by the time the Darshama advance reached us. So we'll try the advantage for slaughter. Bardalor and the fighters closest to him have managed to cut off a large group of the Darshame and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, this would take Bardalor away from the main battle. So in this case, usually attacking them has pushed us to where we need to go, so we'll do attack them. That's not a lot. They turned out to be tougher than Bardalor expected. Although he struck many of them down, it was a distraction from the main combat. And in this case here, I really think we need to conserve strength. Wow! We tried to hold their ground, but we pressed them hard. We gained the upper hand. Yadaken said that only the gods could say for sure, but our combat ability seemed better than theirs. So again, given the fact that it says our combat ability is better, I am going to risk the fight cleverly. And we pulled it off. So they fought ferociously, but we still pushed them back. It was soon over. The battle didn't last long. Our battle magic threw them into confusion. We drove the Darshame off, and we were happy to survive the battle. We captured 16 cows. We took 8 cows worth of loot. Aided by the white goddess Irissa, our auxiliaries saved 3 warriors from dying and healed 4 of the wounded. So that's a pretty limited capture. I'm assuming that's because we went for survival, but... We're being raided by the Jarlenthi. There are 120 of them. They slipped past our patrols, and we could only raise about 9 swords and 40 of our bows and times. Yadakan was concerned that we were outnumbered. Well, again, we'll do survival. And seems here we will do the same ritual. In this case, we'll let the horses... We were able to complete our magical preparations in plenty of time before the Jarlenthi hit us. As our priests completed the ritual, the hooves of the horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready for the attack. Let's try decide the fate of disabled foes. Nearly a dozen Jarlenthi warriors have been blinded, at least for now, by Elmel's dazzling light breaking through the clouds. The sun god has obviously responded to our war priests. Take advantage of the opportunity to attack them. We struck down 11 of our foe. Praising Elmel, other Jarlenthi came to their aid, cursing us. So again, we will conserve our strength, but this may be our undoing. Yeah, we're definitely giving up ground. With much howling, fierce ram warriors pushed us back. The battle began to swing their way. Yadaken said that perhaps they had gotten lucky. Again, we'll fight cautiously. All right, balancing out. They were less than brave. Under fire from our bows, we gained an advantage. They no longer appeared to have an edge over us. Again, we're conserving our strength because we need the warriors. Okay, it's really drawn out here. And we will continue down this path. They fought cautiously and were able to gain the better position. They gained the upper hand. Okay, we're knocking them back. And we'll carry on. Yeah. We pressed their attack, forcing us out of our battle ranks. Victory now appeared within their grasp. This will probably lose it for us, but I don't see any reason to risk. Yeah. Several warriors suddenly flew into our ranks, catching us by surprise. It was soon over. The fighting was fierce. Our magic overcame theirs, but it was not enough, and so we were so disorganized that we had to give way. The Jarlenthi drove off 25 cows and 11 horses, which they had trouble driving. They took 6 cows worth of loot. It would have been worse without our fortifications. Using healing magic, our auxiliaries saved 3 warriors from dying and healed 2 of the wounded. So, of course, the real challenge here is every time I go and do a raid, it feels like I get raided for an equivalent amount. And that's a big challenge. So we can do another raid if I feel like it. Let's see what they say. We can raid all our crops. We don't know the Fire Arrow Blessing. 4 drums are weakest, but they're nearby. Fire flowers? We might wind up with another grudge. Okay, we'll go for plunder here. We're even more outnumbered. Let's try a parley. Fireflowers might have been starting some sort of magical preparation, but stopped to receive our herald. The Fireflowers have agreed to brief talks. Demand tribute. Let's do 5 and 2. Just because at length, but finally said that the gods would not favor the greedy, and they would meet us on the battlefield. Okay. Now we know that they were trying a ritual. I think actually we'll still do it. So fire hoof again. As our priest completed the ritual, the hoofs of our horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready to attack. As we performed the ritual, so did the fireflowers. The hooves of firefly. Okay, so they basically cancel each other out. Let's do a skirmish to try and thin out their numbers. I mean, we got 4. Fireflower advance was on us with only light casualties, and again, we're trying to run down their numbers. So Yatakan is awesome at fighting. Yatakan and the fighters closest to him have maneuvered to isolate a good number of Fireflowers and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, the enemy are in a defensive position. What does he do? Attack them. Fireflowers cried out for mercy, but Yatakan struck down many of them. So we are in a better... we're in a better position. I think I am going to still conserve strength until I am a little more certain of my position. And that cost me. We were taken aback by their risky attacks. Victory now appeared in the grasp. Yatakan said that perhaps they'd gotten lucky. In this case, we'll still conserve, and we got driven from the battlefield. We were thrown into disarray by their risky attacks. It was soon over. It was a brief but bloody battle. Their magic dazzled many of our warriors. We were driven off and had no opportunity to gain loot. Our auxiliaries were able to patch up 6 of our warriors. And we're being raided by the Darshame. There are 10 chariots with other 109. In this case, we survive. Magic ritual to help the horses. They went for reserves. As our priest completed the ritual, the hooves of our horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready to attack. While we performed our ritual, the Darshame shifted some of their forces into a reserve. So let's start with skirmishing. The Darshame advance was on us before we had loosed many volleys. Decide the fate of disabled foes, and we'll, again, just kill as many as we can. We struck down 12 of our foe, praising Elmal. Other Darshame came to their aid, cursing us. Yeah, no problem at all, Elkanu. Thank you again for that host. I hope I get a chance to see your stuff before too long, again. So it seems to me that trying to conserve is just going to slowly make us lose to attrition because they've got reserves that are going to come back. But it also seems to me that if I do fierce fighting right now, that also just potentially makes me lose really early. So we'll try conserving at least once and see if we can get an idea of the position. Interesting. They fought fiercely, but we let them wear themselves out. The battle began to swing our way. Yatakan said nothing was certain, but our fighting skills seemed better than theirs. We've got him on the ropes. So now is actually a time. Let's take the risk. Didn't work. Reserve force rumbled forward as fresh forces pushed us back. Let's take risks again. They fought ferociously, but we still pushed them back. It was soon over. There was a terrific fight. We drove the Darshame off and were happy to have survived the battle. Aided by the white goddess Arissa, our auxiliaries kept 2 warriors from dying and patched up 3 of the wounded. So we are in the Earth season. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to do a herd raid on the Darshame. We won't bring any bows. I'm going to bring 6 swords this time. We managed to keep hidden till the last moment and spirit away 32 cows without ever being noticed. And again, we're still in Earth season, so I'm going to do the exact same thing again. We managed to keep undercover until the last moment and steal 19 cows without meeting any trouble. So how are we wealth-wise? I could definitely use a lot more horses. I think we'll trade for those. So the problem right now is that my diplomacy hasn't been... I put magic into diplomacy and I haven't actually done anything with it. Right now we're going to do a venture. We are still restoring the pastures. And in this case, I think I'm going to try... Yeah, we're still grim, so I think we're still going to try entertaining, and I'm pretty sure we don't... Well, we've got a decent stockpile for feasting, so actually let's try that. Improve clan morale by holding a feast. And Darrow made sure that there was abundant kumis, traditional tower cakes, and a deliciously seasoned goat. The feast improved people's mood, though many were still despairing. Baron, who you identified as a descendant of Elmal and Valero, is now 13 years old. He has befriended a boy a year younger of the Greywing clan. His friend is also named Baron. The two of them want you to ask the other Baron's clan if he can live and train with you for a year. This request would be unusual, but not unheard of. So the people think our Baron is getting a bit big-headed. Valero said to his sister, "Why couldn't you be a brother?" She said, "Why can't you duck this punch?" I've well taught our Baron, but he could use a sparring partner. When I hone this boy, both will be better for it. A closer bond with this people will encourage trade. I sense great potential in both boys. This is not the most consequential question we have ever been asked. And it will all go wrong when they discover girls. So yeah, the question about the clan and the family is a tough one. I guess in terms of votes, it sounds like it's the clan. So, and diplomats. Okay, well, Yandala is the best diplomat. So. The Greywings thanked us for thinking of the happiness of their Baron. However, they foresaw a great destiny for him and were determined to protect him until he was ready for a darkening world. Yandala said that it was hard to argue with that. Worthies of the Darshama clan ask you to deliver a message to the Four Drums. They want you to remind Four Drum leaders that they have suffered many slights at their hands. If the Four Drums do not conciliate with them, they will declare an oath of enmity. They may be a different people, but even they will understand what an oath of enmity is. The messengers you will receive... as messengers, you will receive 20 cows as payment. Customarily, messengers give 5 of these cows to the recipient to remind them that they have no quarrel with them. We could use the 20 cows. When Zenegar East Clan had a warning for Stelfor West Clan, he sent Osara to give it. Gift generously at each stage. Absolutely not. Turning down the gift will earn us esteem, but we'll still have to pay the 5 cows to the 4 drums. Magic will sweeten our words. Everyone will like us better after this, and they should speak for themselves. No, we'll accept. And we'll get Yandala. Yes. The 4 drums thanked us for conveying the message. Their chieftain said that we should tell the Darshame that they looked forward to feuding with them and that they would be ground into the dust on their furious onslaught. Does Yandala soften the message when delivering it to the Darshame? Nope, because I hate them. We went to the Darshame to tell them what the... We went to the Darshame to tell them what the 4-drum chieftain had said in its full harshness. Do I take a gift? Nope. The Darshame leaders accused us of botching the message. If you'd have said it right, they would have given in. Yandala said, even with good intentions, diplomacy was often hard. Alright, so it's still dark season. We still have grazing stress, so let's restore the pastures. The workers almost rebelled when they saw that their previous work had newly eroded thanks to heavy rain. They did what they could, but Icenor couldn't truthfully say that our pastures were closer to being what they were. And it's storm season. Weather is unpredictable as forces of life and darkness battle. So one thing I do want to get out of the way is some diplomacy and trade. So first thing we're going to do is try and deal... Yeah, it was the Parle Uni. So let's. They also have strong friends. So let's start with that. Oh no, Sunbows. That was the one. Since you're feuding with Sunbows, you'll choose gifts later after you decide whether to use an intermediary. Fair enough. Before I do that, I want to just double check my wealth. 162 goods. We're doing ridiculously well on that, and I definitely need to be buying horses. First things first, though. A delegation of weeders, foreigners who live on the shores of the nearby Black Eel River, petition you for aid against the Flamesinger clan. We are not rich like you, but we get by digging for clams and fishing, they say, using the simple tongue of trade. Those riders harry us mercilessly in search of our treasure, a large magic pearl. We will give it to you if you stop them from raiding us. So, people will complain if we do nothing. We don't know what the pearl does, but I'm guessing it grants a blessing during sea season. The trick with the weeders isn't beating them, it's getting them to stand and fight. We don't trade much with the weeders, but we could certainly trade with the Flamesingers. They must not be able to tell Hailering clans apart, because we recently raided the weeders, and my family dislikes the Flamesinger chieftain. So usually when we go after the weeders, they send creatures after us, and we can't really afford that. So in this case, let's actually try and build relationships with the clans. So, well, no, yeah, we'll decline then tell the Flamesingers. They do not seem impressed with our offer of information as we had hoped. Ioga said that they must have already heard that the weeders were going around asking for help. Huh. Alright, so I think, yeah, we're all set for ventures. So, in this case, I'm going to do trade. And it's basically going to be lots of goods in exchange for horses. Sell some trade goods and buy herd animals. After we send a caravan to each rider clan, we would be able to support more trading. After becoming a real threat, we should start a larger escort or first devote some time to scouring the area for bandits. The Porganosi have the most herds, the Jade Colts have the most horses. The Barmarangs have the most good. Okay, Porganosi and Jade Colts if I haven't visited either. I know we visited the Jade Colts, so that won't mean much. Okay. Oh, but we can't get horses from them. Blue Crest. They hate us. They also hate us. They mock us. Oh, but this isn't horse. Okay, so we've talked to we've talked to everyone but the Fire Flower and the Blue Crest. I don't remember what the N stands for. Let's see. There we go. Clans that share a border with your clan or that are only one clan away from your clan are marked with an N. These nearby clans are ones you'll have the most interaction with. Okay. So with that in mind, let's try and patch things up. Senior herders have been calculating the number of horses needed to support the clan. If we don't get more horses, another 20 or so, we will no longer be riders. On behalf of everyone, they ask, what is the clan circle going to do? The common people can count just as well as anyone else and know that the clan is headed for trouble. Hey, Endaro's gotten old. So until we restore our herds, nothing else matters. A ritual like the Gamari Horse Mother could help, and we have some clan magic to support one. It will take the men to deal with this mess. We don't have the word of two others. The people want to see us do something, and the story time is full of times the Star Dancers overcame. All right, so yes, we will engage in ceremonial preparation for an otherworld ritual. Kimka led the clan in half a season of ritual preparation. She felt that the gods favored us. We had about a year to find the best time to actually ride to the gods' war. Although the Sunbows are feuding with you, they probably will respect an emissary. Yandala could also ask another clan to try to resolve our feud. Let's actually just go straight for resolving the feud. I'm going to go for the full 30 goods. It's strong, but as soon as they saw Yandala's peace delegation, the Sunbows attacked it. Outnumbered, Yandala called for an immediate retreat. The delegation escort slew a few Sunbows during the escape. The Yandala proved herself in a tough situation. Peace with the Sunbow clan now lay even further away. Our caravan is back from the Fireflowers, although our reception was barely civil. Fireflower traders were willing to accept our first caravan to them. We traded 35 cows worth of goods for 12 horses. The Fireflower traders were particularly interested in obtaining a treatise on cheese, although I'm fairly sure they couldn't read it. Last year, 18 babies were born. We initiated 20 children as adults. The clan has 39 fewer people, 37 more head of cattle, and 35 fewer horses than we did last Sacred Time. Our crafters produced 33 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 63 cows worth of goods. Maintaining our shrines took 15 cows of goods, and goods worth 30 cows. So other than the fact that it takes cows, we should definitely be building more shrines. The hunters will find little game this year. We are known for finding secrets Hyalor left before he died, and Raven, Elmel's shadow, chased away much of our luck. But Ernost showed up with an all-black horse, which he claimed could talk, but only to the pure. So, Wildlands magic will help counteract the bad hunting omen. Ritual magic will make it easier to ask Dostal and some of the other gods to share some of their mysteries. Council members represent their deities. We can perform more crop rituals thanks to Ioga's worship of Nadala. As a whole, other rider clans think poorly of us, nor are they impressed by our small herds. Sadly, no other clans believe in the Snala revelation. Often it's better to concentrate our magic in a few areas. Of course, all rituals will be useful. Pastures magic will help us raise more livestock. We are getting short of horses, cows, and goats. And leave little in reserve. This can help boost all sorts. Okay, so fields, pastures, lots in ritual. Do one in war. I want to leave two. We're doing it all. I had the most disturbing dream, not an ordinary dream, but a prophecy. Our land was ruled by dragons and dragon men, and men who had the tongues of dragons. And in the sky, even the clouds and sun were dragons. I don't know what to make of this. Word from the Flamesinger clan has it that they raided the Weeders, gaining their magic pearl. Brothers of Ivatu's husband have come from the Four-Drum clan to inform us that she is pregnant. Give a gift. 10 goods. I'm concerned about how unhappy our people are. We can start a venture to improve their mood. People are quite healthy. Other clans would be interested in hearing what we learned by exploring. They will be impressed and might share what they have found. I suggest a venture. Scouring the Valley of Bandits will make all our missions safer. We spread the Sinala revelation. Our clan magic is low, so we should perform the ceremony venture, and we should send out our most pious speakers to spread the word about Sinala. I might actually go just off the top. So one thing I want to do here is lore, and there was... Oh God. I can't remember the name of the ritual. Well, Gamari, right. Oh, we need clan magic? Yikes. Okay, so unfortunately, we do need the ceremony. Indala led the clan in half a season of ritual preparation. She was certain that the gods favored us. Elders had recited sacred stories, the stone faces were cleaned, and the singers had been practicing. All right. So we actually don't have... Okay, we recognize dozens of gods, but you don't have to learn about all of them at once. Our most important gods are Elmal, god of the sun, and Nyelda, the Earth Mother. Almost as important are Hyalor, the hero who taught us to ride and became a god himself, and Gamari, the horse goddess who Hyalor rescued. Nyelda's daughters feed us, Busanari, the cow mother, Inilla the forager, Pella, the goddess of barley, and Uredara, the goat mother. Inilla's husband, Dostal, the hunter, also provides. We worship the other gods, Ikarna the trader, Irissa the healer, Relindar the learned, and Elmel's children, Osra and Zarlin. Some of the gods aren't important enough to build a clan shrine to, like Busarayan the sky watcher, Shela the rain goddess, or Tepikos the smith. Other gods are enemies. Avoid them when you are weak and oppose them when you are strong. The worst is Orlanth, the violent storm god worshipped by the Ram people. Shargash, the demonic god of the Alkoth. Usually he stays in that city, but the Dara Happen Emperor sometimes unlooses him. Non-humans have their own alien deities. Elves worship Eldra, a plant goddess. Dwarves worship the god of logical behavior, Mostal, and trolls worship the troll mother, Kyger Lightor. Some gods are important even though we don't worship them. Yelm, the Sun Emperor, once ruled the world before Orlanth murdered him, and we had to leave behind so many gods of civilization in Lost Nivera. We also know how to deal with powerful spirits. Raven attached himself to Hyalor, offering both help and trouble, and there are countless other spirits. Gods and spirits are associated with runes. For example, Elmal has the fire rune, as do many other sky gods, and Nyelda is the goddess of the earth rune. Okay, so that didn't tell me too much about Gamari. I'm gonna get that ritual name again. Gamari Horse Mother. So it'd be really nice if we could figure out more details, or like anything about the ritual that we're about to do, but we'll run for it. Oh, we've performed this one already. Okay, rituals on this screen are journeys into the timeless other world of the gods, often called the Gods' War, since their conflicts are a common feature. A single individual, the Questor, assumes the identity of a deity and attempts to recreate the deity's actions. If the Questor succeeds, he can harness huge supernatural powers for the good of the clan. If the Questor fails, he risks death and bad consequences for the clan. Otherworld rituals aren't routine, but it's harder to contact the gods via sacrifice if you don't visit the Gods' War every so often. It's a good idea to perform a ritual at least every 7 years. You can repeat rituals, though if you have been rewarded, it's hard to enact the same ritual for 5 years, and you can only conduct one ritual per year, whether it succeeds or not. Okay. Do we know the Gamari Horse Mother well enough to reenact it? I don't remember from last time. It's been 8 years since we rode to the other side to visit the gods. We need to perform the ritual to restore their favor. Yeah, honestly, if it's been that long, okay, we'll do it. You embark on a ritual to send one of your women to join Gamari in the gods' war. Do you seek the aid of other riders? Yes. One clan agreed to take part, trusting that we would ride well to Gamari's side. Do you also seek the assistance of Wheels? They worship Gamari but scorn Hyalor, who plays a key role in her story. No. Priestess of Gamari typically attempts this ritual. It calls for someone adept in combat and leadership. Alright. So I don't have anybody... It looks like I don't have anybody who's best at those traits. So I got good, very good, excellent, good. I suppose on balance, Ilara is better at it. The ritual calls for a wounded Ilara. Some asked why the circle had chose to perform this ritual now when we had no devotee of Gamari to send to her side. What do you sacrifice to speed Ilara on her path? We'll go to 15 goods just because we don't have somebody on side. Ilara recalls that before the horse goddess became Gamari, she fought many enemies accompanied by her easily distracted comrade Yamsur. To win the trust and attention of Gamari, which foe does Ilara battle? Marangor, Shaker of the Earth, Urox, a bullying ram, Zorak Zoran, a hungering troll, and instead of fighting, inspire Yamsur to do his duty. So I am a better fighter. Let's try the troll, because that's already one of our enemies. The Trollgrod ripped off Gamari's wings. Before he could land a fatal blow, Ilara landed bright blows on his head. He shrank back, blinking his tiny eyes. Ilara passes into the blur of the gods' war, where everything happens at once. Abruptly, she finds herself again in the presence of Gamari, but at another point in the story. Now the familiar form of a horse, Gamari is ridden by Hyalor, ancestor of the riders. Enraged by the loss of her old form, she bucks and attempts to throw him off. How does Ilara help the goddess to see the glory of her new self, accepting Hyalor as a worthy companion? Sing a song satirizing the fecklessness of her previous ally Yamsur. Tell her that the alliance with Hyalor gives rise to a new people. Thank her for the many great deeds that she will enable, and warn her that the sneaking god Samnal plans to chain her to a chariot. Let's try the thanks. Talk of the future that was also the present did little to calm the horse mother's distress. Okay. Hyalor and Gamari come to an accord. She performs the birthing miracle, bringing into being many fine mares and stallions. Then Ilara sees Samnal, who is to the wheels what Hyalor is to riders, sneak up and try to bind Gamari with his fearsome chains. Appeal to Elmal, governor of the Golden City, rouse Hyalor's kin and companions against him, trick him into taking one of Gamari's daughters instead, and ride for home, abandoning the ritual. Let's rouse Hyalor. Hyalor's allies made a circle around Gamari, preventing Samnal from stealing her. Samnal took one of her daughters instead. After Gamari allies with Hyalor, leading to the foundation of the riders as a people, she performs many miracles. Which of these does Ilara assist? Giving us Kumis, running circles around false suns, teaching us to ride, or ride for home, abandoning the ritual. I don't know if this is the reward or not. Do teaching us to ride. Ilara helped the ancestors learn the secrets of horsemanship. Gamari flares her nostrils at Ilara and sniffs. She nods and says, "Yes, you are a true daughter of Hyalor. Thank you. Thank you. And now I would like to offer you a boon." Absolutely horses. 14 sturdy horses galloped into the ritual grounds as if from nowhere. The clan that did the most to support our right shared in its benefits. They whooped in salute to Ilara, and those who stood aside imagined how fat and sleek their horses would have been if they had taken part. All right. So it's fire season, that means raiding time. The big question now is, do I want to try risking a raid? What have we got? So we don't have stealth. I think we go for it. Fireflower, we can raid while our crops right, and if we choose to, Air Terame. But we might have to cross the river. I mean, it is my best warrior saying it, so... Raiders could not find a place to cross the Black Eel River. Thousands of eels swarmed, and the horses wouldn't go near them. Small offering to the river. Yatakan threw trade goods worth 1 cow into the river. Our wealth disappeared, but the river gave no sign of caring. Continue scouting. Yatakan found another place that was free of eels and led the forces across. The Air Terame did not spot us in time, and our 12 bows and 12 swords and 45 bows are facing only 1 charioteer and 55 footmen. Yatakan was pleased that we outnumbered them. Still, victory would be up to the gods. Yatakan noticed the Air Terima chief was noted for his caution. So, I'm gonna go for plunder. I actually don't think this is as good. I mean, I know numerically we're better off, but this can turn pretty quickly against us. I will do a magic ritual, and we'll do battle glow. As our priest completed the ritual, our warriors felt a warm glow as if they had drunk deeply of kumis, but we focused on victory. As we performed the ritual, so did the Air Terame. Magical flames appealed on the wheels of their death carts. So let's skirmish. The Air Terame rushed us before we loosed more than a few volleys. Now, in this case, take an opportunity for plunder, yes. One of our raiders spots a pile of valuables that the Arterima warriors apparently set aside so they wouldn't lose them. Let's do secure the plunder while we have a chance. Took valuables worth 6 cows. And in this case, I think I'm actually going to go for the Berserk attack. Oh! Chariots and blades on their axles took a cruel toll on our forces, and we had to fall back. It was soon over. The battle didn't last long. Their combat magic took up many of our warriors. We were driven off and had no opportunity to obtain booty. The Arterame took 6 captives, including one of our women auxiliaries. With their careful attention, our auxiliaries kept 4 warriors from dying and patched up 6 of the wounded. The 6 people the Arterame captured from us must now be slaves. We may not be able to rescue them right away, but we should try before they die of mistreatment. So we will go straight back. Yatakan gets wounded again. And they detected us, so we'll still plunder. So this time we'll do strongbow. We started... Sure, we'll do parley. We'll return all 6 Star Dancer captives if you do not attack today or during the next year. Yep. Some of our warriors thought that we could have freed our captives and gotten loot as if we had attacked. Nope, but I want to restore them. So we are in Earth season. We can start another... So I would actually want to send out a raiding party here, but in this case, we still have grazing stress, so I'm going to try and recover... Oh, we're still restoring pastures. Okay. Then in that case, let's do entertain. Aoga organized a horse dance and gave people a little hope, although many were still despairing. We still don't know the valley all that well. I think we should send out an exploring party. Maybe not right now. Still late Earth season, so let's do a raid. No bows. We'll send 6 swords. Everybody's getting taken out. We managed to ride into the Arterame lands and steal 33 cows without meeting any trouble. See, we need horses, though. It's dark season, so now we need to be focusing on other matters. So where are we for wealth? We've got food, we've got quite a few goods. So let's take a minute here and start building some shrines. So in this case, I think building a shrine with the calf blessing. Ivatu's parents and our grandparents. Her first child is a girl. No word yet on whether she has the same fire in her eyes as her mother. The happy grandparents prepare a party to visit her. Do we send gifts on behalf of the clan? 7. And milk blessing is also tempting. Yeah, so we'll do milk blessing first. Word goes out that the Zarhawks are hosting an archery contest. All the rider clans will gather to compare the skills of their best archers. Prizes will be awarded for the best adult, best youth, and best child in both men's and women's categories. Many of our people are sure this is a trap. To bring Stelfor and Zengar back together, Ozra invented archery contests. It's a festive occasion, but displaying skill at archery tells others to fear our arrows. I don't have an opinion on this. A friendship can never be too solid. Rare case where we have more to gain from foes than friends, and I will dance, at first with my clothes on. Let's actually, yes, I do like the idea on mending grievances. So, though we did not drink kumis together and embrace like old friends, we made progress by those whose hearts were frozen against us. So now that we're in storm season, I do want to do relations, and we're going to try and put the... We're going to try and put some of the... we're going to try and put some of the... what is it? The feuds behind us. I'm not going to focus on the Parlun yet. Why can I never remember? It was Flameslinger, right? No, we're allied with the Flameslingers. Right, it was the Flameslingers who came... It's not the Arrowstone, is it? No, Arrowstone's on our side. Usually if I go under war... The Paraluni they're talking about. Hey, the Rain Dog. It's not as confusing as it seems. So the big thing is that you can think of it a little bit as... it's partly a storybook. It's partly... It may also be that the feud is done. I should check it. One of the things about it is, I don't know if you've ever watched me play that Cultist Simulator game, but remember how Cultist Simulator, part of it is learning as you go? The big thing about this game is that it is a world where magic is a very real thing, and much like the rest of the world, much like events in the world, there's no guaranteed outcomes. And so one of the things that can potentially be confusing is the fact that you've got lore, and as much as I love reading these things, they do go quite long. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to get the very specific, if these are supposed to correspond directly towards the rituals, or if I should just be reading all of them. And so I don't know if it's I read one of these before I go on the ritual to help me, or the fact that I read all of these will equip me for the rituals. But basically, it's a game that promotes a bit of a close reading. You want to sort of understand the relationships between the gods. And I mean, I'd maybe put it to you this way. Imagine that you were able to step into ancient Greek myth to bring about changes in the real world. So let's say that you could bring the favor, you're going to maybe go on a fishing trip, and you want, well, I guess the sea, you don't always, fishing, you don't have to be in the sea, but... Or maybe you go hunting, and you get, you want help with the hunt. But to do so, you actually need to go into Greek myth. And you have this idea of what the story was. Maybe you've read some myths or a compendium. You've got a copy of Bullfinch's mythology under your pillow that you read every night. From that, you step in, and then you see, hang on a minute, the story about Diana isn't exactly the way that I remembered it. And you need to go in and you need to sort of make the events happen the way that they did in reality with imperfect information. Similarly, when you're managing the clan, everybody has their own interests on your council, and so the advice that you get is not necessarily the game telling you the optimal path. It's telling you the optimal path for that self-interested individual. And so there's, a level of resource management. There's a level of sort of trying to weigh the probabilities. This means, in my particular case, I really struggled with the game because it seemed that, so I will credit this game by saying it actually has some fairly intuitive events. And one of the drawbacks that I ran into is that the intuitive moves happen to have bad luck rolls, and so it felt like the game was very random. But yeah, I would say it's interesting in the sense that it's a storybook. It's interesting in the sense that it's got this very interesting myth and this very interesting world around it. And I kind of feel bad that I haven't done more with this mythology, because these are really fun to read. But I do want to try and make a little bit of progress inside of the game, even though I do take these breaks to talk about it a little bit. So I'd say it's probably not as confusing as it seems at first, which doesn't mean that it's a game that's, completely transparent either. But if you like a good story, and particularly if you like something to sort of chew on, and maybe you like reading, when you read role-playing books, you don't go to the rules, you go to maybe the game master section, or you go to the, all of the details in terms of how the world works. It's definitely the type of person that I think would like this style of game. It's got just enough resource management. It's just got enough gamey elements to keep you working at it. But the real selling point on this is this really unique art style, the nice music, and the fact that there's this very deep world for you to sort of run around in if you want. So it's got deep world building, but you're at the mercy of RNG with magic and events. Or is there's definitely more strategy involved than that. Is lore research essentially the strategy here? Partly. Obviously, the rituals I was talking about are one small part of the game. But on the other hand, you will have combat, and I think my experience of combat is not unique. If you look in the community on this, there's a lot of people saying I don't get the combat at all. But there's also a guide in the Steam community, and there's actually the developers of this game are quite active, both in the Discord and on the Twitter and social media and whatnot. So they've also been very kind at getting in touch and letting me know, hey, it's actually not as bad as you think. So Uncle Crank says, I gotta go the rules a bit, but knowing about lore is good too. Yep. Oh, you go to the rules a bit, but knowing about the lore is good. Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, even though I always enjoyed playing more than being a game master, there's just something about knowing the world that you're in. I like playing games from a point of view. When you guys have seen me play Stellaris, I always play a type of race, and I don't make optimal choices. I make interesting story choices. And so this type of game is right up my alley. So Raindog says, you were the kid that always flipped to the lore part of the RPG book, so yeah, you're interested. Actually, now is the time for... Please don't think of this as being too aggressive as a selling point. It's been a little while since I put this in. So for those of you who are interested in this game, that's the Steam page. If you don't buy it right away, I do recommend that you guys wishlist it. One, because you never know who's going to give you a gift. But number two, it communicates interest, and when the game goes on sale or when new DLC comes out, I definitely think it's good to get informed through that. You were an immersion junkie with your simulations, strategy games, and RPGs, so yeah, this sounds cool. It is, and there's a game before it as well by the same developer called King of Dragon Pass. It's not published by Kitfox Games, who were the ones who gave me this key for promotional purposes, but it's one that I am told is quite similar and also very good. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to do. So it's storm season, which means I can trade. I definitely want to trade for more horses if I can. But I also wanted to... It's early start. That's right. I wanted to sort out my... that's funny it doesn't have one that says who we're feuding with. I also need to build more fortifications, but... okay... So Paralun if I have to. Parganosi. That's it, the Sunbow. I knew it was something related to it. I also kind of want to prioritize the Sunbow because they are a horse clan. So we'll send the emissary. I'm going to do 30 goods again. Well, 30 goods is a lot for me right now, but we'll send it. We've not done enough to ensure people are fed. We do have sufficient food for now, but I expect that won't last if we don't take action. I expect the clan will produce less than we eat during the next year. We could ask Inila's for Inila's Rootle blessing. We're being raided by the Darshame. There are 11 chariots with another 108 on foot. They slipped past our patrols and we could only raise 8 swords and 36 bows on time. Yatakan was worried about how many of them there were. So survival. Also, I'm curious. Let's use the Hollow Spear. So let's bring Firehoof to bring our numbers up. Darshama Wellbear scared even our magicians. Still try it. As our priest completed the ritual, the hooves of our horses began to spark as they pranced about ready to attack. Our ritual took longer than expected, and we were not in good battle order when the Darshame reached us. So, fight cleverly would be nice, but I don't know how good I am. So let's conserve strength. Okay, that paid off. The gamble failed as their risky maneuvers left them in a worse situation. The battle began to swing our way. Yatakan said that nothing was certain, but our fighting skills seemed better than theirs. Let's try and end this with fight clever. Oh, and we die. They attacked wildly, rattling death carts, driving us back. We could not continue to fight with so few warriors. It was a brief but bloody battle. Our battle magic defeated theirs, but it was not enough. We were driven from the battlefield, and the Darshame, we lost a lot there, made off with 9 cows and 10 horses. Our fortifications protected our other wealth. Using healing magic, our auxiliaries kept 2 warriors from dying and healed 2 of our wounded. Jesus Christ. Patrol spotted a herd of rear raid by the Grey Wings. They have 14 mounted raiders. We met them with 5 swords and 8 bows. Yatakan, I guess I can always use this, so... Let's try with a skirmish first. We exchanged missile fire with the Grey Wings, and we got the worst of the deal. Drat. Intimidate. War whoops turned out to be more terrifying than our own. Man, we suck. Skirmish again. The Grey Wings advance on us with only light casualties. So we are 1 less, but they have kind of the better morale and whatnot. We'll try conserving strength, but I think this might lose it for us. Yeah, well, that shows what I know about the combat. They tried to press the attack, but we held just as strongly. It was soon over. The fighting was over quickly. Their combat magic was greater than ours, but we weren't daunted. We drove the Grey Wings off, and their survivors left without looting us. Many wounded. All right, we're still in late storm season, so I sent somebody out to try and make peace, which means I've got a little bit of left... I mean, I suppose I could try a herd raid. Actually, no, let's try fortifications here. So we could do a rampart for 50 goods or a stone wall for 150. Let's try the rampart. A delegation from the Four Drum Clans arrives to offer you aid. We have heard that you are in need, they say. We hold you in great esteem and do not wish to see you suffer. They wonder what they might grant you to get through your present difficulties. What do you ask for? Horses. They give us 5 horses. Thank them. Thank them. They accepted our thanks. An Artivus died of old age. The clan is scandalized at how many children did only the shortest rites and did them poorly among dropping the funeral doll. We will not forget his ability to drive a hard but fair bargain. Although the Sunbows are feuding with you, they will probably respect an emissary. Yandala could also ask another clan to try and resolve the feud. So, seek an intermediary to negotiate for you. I think they said the Firebows would help on this one. Maybe Arrowstone? Or maybe it was Flameslingers. Let's try. Agreed to speak on our behalf. Unlike us, they did not need to worry that the Sunbows would attack them on sight. What gifts do you give them to present the Sunbows on your behalf? Ooh. I'm a little worried that we might start losing... I'm a little worried we might start losing shrines if this is the number of goods that we have. Okay. The eloquent representations of our intermediaries softened Sunbow hearts. Through the Flame Singers, they informed us that they had better things to do than feud with us. Okay. Last year, 19 babies were born. We initiated 28 children as adults. The clan has 20 fewer people, 6 fewer head of cattle, and 2 fewer horses than we did last Sacred Time. Our crafters produced 33 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 63 cows worth of goods. Maintaining our shrines took 20 cows and goods worth 40 cows. The seers heard whispers in a strange language, but could not make out the meaning. We are known for finding secrets Hyalor left before he died. We don't have a complete circle, so our clan magic is weaker, and Raven the Trickster stole magic for the clan. We did not ask from where. Also, Ernost showed up with a sack of sparkly rocks that he said were Raven droppings. So, Raindog says, as a child who is obsessed with Choose Your Own Adventure and fighting fantasy books, this game's existence makes me happy. Seems brutal, though. It is definitely a challenging game, but that doesn't, like, I've never been of the opinion that a challenging game means, an unenjoyable game. So, Fields Pastures for sure. I think we need a point in health. I'll put a point in war as well. I will keep some reserve. The Porganosi clan, who have more luck with cows than any of their fellow rams, just went to the Gods' War. In its tumult, their champion performed daring deeds to protect their cow goddess. She returned to the ritual grounds with 50 of their shaggy longhorns. Atronos, the young wheel born under a glowing sunpath, has reached the age of 15 and already fights like a seasoned warrior. His clan, Nar Onani, expects great deeds from him. You heard that David Attenborough mention that once. I was a little surprised to hear from a Jandari trader that his people have been feeling the effects of the increasing cold. It seems that they consider the gods of winter to be enemy gods, or that's what their farmers think. I don't know how this affects us, but it confirms that the world grows darker. Okay. So let's reorganize. So dialogue, let's pick 2 white check boxes to note the chief, membership of the council, to pick a new chief, remove the current one from the circle. You can now sort in a variety of ways. So mix of skills, religions, and representing the 7 families. If I can... Okay, so I've gone through this before, but it's not a bad time to review it. To pick a clan council, click Reorganize. This shows a dialogue where you pick a chief and 6 other advisors. The chief is the first position on the circle. To unseat the chief, click either checkbox, then click the top checkbox of another leader. Organizing a good clan circle isn't necessarily as simple as just sorting through the abilities and choosing the highest rated clan member in each. For mythic reasons, clans work better if all the inner circle worship different gods, and the 7 families will all want to be represented on the council. If they are, the clan generates an extra point of magic each year. Don't worry if you can't balance all these factors, though it's certainly a plus if you can. Note the leaders offer comments when you click them. So, as far as families are concerned, we currently have... So the Akot, Desano, Erkent, I think it's the Norden family that's not represented. Oh, and apparently the turret. Wait a minute. No, we do have a turret. Okay. Ah, actually, this is perfect. So Verona actually has exactly the things that I wanted. So welcome to the clan. And actually, it's a decent gender balance too. So 1, 2, 3 dudes, 1, 2, 3, 4 miladies. What? No! A scruffy band of outlaws expelled from both Rider and Ram clans come to your borders seeking a parley. The Tor Ashday have offered us food and goods worth 3 cows to ambush your trading parties, but they told us we stank, which we do, but it's not our fault, forced to live rough as we are, so we come to you and say we will raid their trade missions for about 4 cows worth. So, the people will worry if we admit bandits into their midst. The first bandit was Yenfar the Capturer, who was an evil magician to boot. More warriors would allow us to act with greater boldness. They are desperate and risk their necks for cheap. No clan esteems us less than the Tor Ashday. I'd go along with the Circle's decision, and I trust honest thieves over silk-tongued chieftains. Do rather like the idea of having them as warriors. This might hurt my morale, but honestly, my morale sucks already. 2 warriors agreed to join us. They expressed gratitude for the chance at belonging, and we swore that we would not be sorry. Though they did not say so, we could tell that some of our people were worried about bringing outlaws into our ranks. But we've done that historically too, so... Okay, sea season, time to prepare and sow the fields. We're hurting on goods. It's a little early to do this, but I think we're actually going to do a herd raid. The Arterame and the Parl Urni. That or I could do trading. I'll do trading later. So no bows, 6 swords. We managed to sneak around the Tor Ashta patrols and steal 24 cows without meeting any trouble. We're still in the... oh no, it's raiding season now, so I need to be careful. Or I need to be bold. Low on horses, which can make it hard to fight well. It's not critical, but more warriors would be useful. We don't have enough goods to build a stone wall. The 4 drums helped us and would be offended if we paid them back with a raid. Our crops can grow while we raid if we choose to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do... Horsebreaker. Oh, but you know what? I don't have the goods for it. I wanted to try and get more horses. Yeah, that won't work. We really don't have the numbers for good raids. Fireflowers are the weakest of the nearby. Well, let's try it. Fireflower patrols detect us, and our 12 swords and 48 bows are facing 1 sword and 101 bows. Firehoof. As our priest completed the ritual, the hooves of horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready to attack. Meanwhile, our warriors grew more and more uneasy at the Fireflower war whoops. Okay, we'll skirmish. We shot at the Fireflowers as they performed some sort of rituals. The Fireflower bows took on a radiant glow. We are now out of arrows. So we'll advance. Both sides advanced. Take advantage of an opportunity for slaughter. Bardalor and the fighters closest to him have managed to cut off a good number of the fire flowers and have a good chance of killing all of them. Unfortunately, this would take Bardalor away from the main battle. What does he do? Attack them. Bardalor hewed them left and right, but some escaped. So we will fight cautiously. Oh, that didn't go well. Our cautious attack went nowhere as they resolutely held their ground. They gained the upper hand. Yadaken said that he thought our combat skill was higher than theirs. Let's try a clever fight. This could end it for us, but it could also push it heavily in our favor. Nice. Although they tried to conserve their strength, we gained the advantage. Our choice of tactics helped put the fight to an end. It was a brief but bloody battle. Their battle magic overcame ours, but we weren't daunted. We drove the fire flowers from the battlefield and were able to plunder their lands. We captured 22 cows and 11 horses and took 4 cows worth of loot. All right. Now we have to give up all of our goodies. We're being raided by the Aratarame. There are 12 chariots with another 109 on foot. Luckily, our patrol spotted them, and 17 swords and 75 bows met them. Okay. I'm going to try for drive them off. Let's do the magical ritual. Fire hoof. As our priests completed the ritual, the hooves of our horses began to spark, and they pranced about ready to attack. As we performed the ritual, so did the Artarame. The Tarima bows took on a radiant glow. Okay, so knowing that they're putting on the bows, I would like to skirmish to whittle down the numbers, but I know they have a skirmishing advantage. So in this case, we're going to charge to neutralize that advantage. We charged through the hail of arrows and smashed into the Artarame. Decide the fate of disabled foes. Nearly a dozen of our Tarima warriors have been temporarily blinded by Elmal's dazzling light. The sun god has obviously responded to our war priests. Take advantage of the opportunity to attack them. We struck down 10 of our foe, praising Elmal. Other Artarime rushed to the fallen, cursing us. So let's conserve strength. Ooh. They seem more interested in protecting their chariots than winning the battle, and we gained the better position. We gained the upper hand. Yadakan said nothing was certain, but our fighting skill seemed better than theirs, so let's take the risks. They tried to withdraw, but their footmen could not, so the chariots wheeled back to support them. It was soon over. It was a short, nasty battle. Their battle magic was stronger than ours, but we fought harder to make up for it. We drove the Artarame off, and their survivors left without plundering us. With their careful attention, our auxiliaries saved 2 warriors from dying and bandaged 5 of the wounded. So, presumably A-Sharp has specifically gone in and intervened in my session to make sure that I didn't go completely bonkers this time around. It has definitely been a lot less savage than the last time. So one thing I want to see here, we've got, in terms of, I'm going to say commoners, warriors, and nobles are all potentially people who can ride. So that would be 255 plus 17, so that would be 272. And we are 168 horses, so we need over 100 horses. If we last leave Nivera, their cities, they hate us, they owe us a favor, and they keep slaves. Bring the Arrowstone. Let's do it. Raiders could not find a place to cross the Black Eel River. The Black Eel spirit churned the waters. Small offering. Never works. Clan magic. With the support of the clan's magic, they were able to cross and continued their journey. The Aristones sent 19 warriors. We eluded the Artarima patrols, and our 12 swords and 48 bows are facing only 8 charioteers and 54 footmen. Yatakan was pleased that we outnumbered them. Still, anything could happen. Yatakan noticed that the Artarima chief was noted for his caution. So again, we'll go for plunder. Let's conduct a magical ritual. Battle glow. As our priest completed the ritual, our warriors felt a warm glow, as if they had drunk deeply of kumis, but focused on victory. As we performed a ritual, so did the Artarime. The Artarima bows took on a radiant glow. So we'll do the same thing as before. We'll charge. We charged the barrage of arrows. Their arrows seemed faster and more deadly than usual, so we're on the back foot here. Decide the fate of disabled foes. Nearly a dozen Artarima warriors have been blinded, at least for now, by Elmel's dazzling light. The sun god had obviously responded to our war priests. Take advantage of the opportunity to attack them. Decent casualties. We struck down 12 of our foe, praising Elmel. Other Artarime came to their aid, vowing vengeance. I think in this case, I'm going to try fight fiercely. They seemed more interested in protecting their chariots than winning the battle, and we gained the advantage. It was soon over. It was a short, nasty battle. We drove the Artarime from the battlefield and were able to plunder their lands. We gave thanks to our war gods because our battle glow ritual was a big factor in our victory. Our share of the plunder was 22 cows and 5 horses. We plundered the Bowl of Unity. Using healing magic, our auxiliaries kept 3 warriors from dying and patched up 7 of the wounded. During the battle, the hollow spear shattered in a spray of wood and bronze splinters. Okay, so we got through the fire season without losing anything. I actually feel shockingly good about that. So it seems this is the time where we're going to want to cure the grazing stress. Darrow continued the slow process of weeding, spreading manure, and dealing with erosion. He was afraid that it would take several more years to complete the venture. Yeleni nomads appear on your clan boundary. They say that they have visited a place outside the valley where spirits abound. They took as many spirits as they could support, but left behind many more. In exchange for food and gear worth 5 cows, they will tell you where that was. So Endero says we might rouse the people by scorning these woebegone folk, but it will be hard. Irissa may grant a blessing for helping those worse off than us. You can never do too much exploring. They're not asking for much. We should get their information, but if a raven trick goes wrong, the ill luck may affect us. Osora once fought their big spirit, King Vulture, scaring him away with flaming arrows, and the tattered Yeleni are easily deceived. You know what? I think I'm just going to go for take them up on it. They told us to look for spirits to the north at the Imther Mountains. We should act fast. Spirits seldom congregate in one spot for any great length of time. Okay. It's still Earth season, so I don't want to do too much in terms of exploration. Well, no, I think there's a way we can work with this. Not sure I want Yatakan going on it, though. That makes sense, though. So we'll send him deep. And it's dark season, so venture time. Just want to double check to see if there's anything related to... Actually, first of all, let's see what they say. Dark season, we can still perform a venture. It would be a good time to do some fur trapping. Scouring the Valley of Bandits will make our mission safer. We should scour the Valley for bandits. We should send out our most pious speakers to spread the word of Sinala. I'm concerned about how unhappy our people are. We could start a venture to improve their mood, and other clans would be interested to hear what we learned by exploring. either morale... I mean, morale is dreadful, so improving that is a high priority. But I'm going to trap for furs, and the reason for that is that will let me trade for horses, which I also need. Ilara said that animals had the most valuable furs in the dark season, but was also hard to go out in the snow and check the traps. She and the hunters kept trying, but the gods of winter are no friends of ours. A delegation from the Orvisi clan comes seeking your aid. For members of the Foreign Ram people, they hold you in unusually high regard. They report that your friends in the Foredrum clan, Hylarings like you, have been mercilessly oppressing them, most recently with a savage raid. They ask you to intercede and broker a truce, or better yet, a lasting peace. So the use of spirit magic would be popular. Velaro asked his sister Osara to aid him. She said, certainly, for a mirrored shield and a herd of goats. Her help must be worth something. Among the Rams, no one likes us more than the Orvisi. Among riders, no one likes us better than the Foredrums. Okay. We don't have much to lose here. And okay, so let's do what's in it for us. Said that would give us 9 cows if we convince the Foredrums to make peace. Sure. Yandala. Sure. Just 5 goods. Now, the Foredrum leaders said that they esteemed us highly, but were not prepared to give up such a fat target. When we told the Orvisi, they responded with dismay. Naturally, we got no cows, as we had not succeeded in our task. Yandala said that we caught the Foredrums in an avaricious mood. Okay. So, late dark season, there's not a lot that we can get done right now. Well, we've got some goods, so let's do a recruitment drive. Okay, storm season. So first thing I'm going to do is some trading. And I'm going to do the counterintuitive talk to people who hate me. Send a few more swords, and in this case, again, we're selling goods. And in this case, I'm actually just gonna... Actually, I'll buy food as well. I kind of wanted to make it horses only, but I think we're getting a little short, so... Our journey to the north took us to the foothills of a forbidding mountain range. We came upon the encampment of Grey Wing explorers who identified these as the Imther Mountains. They said that we should expect little luck in dealing with the dwarves who lived here, but even asking about trading offended them. Only by riding quickly away had they escaped battle with the sons of Mostel. As we pressed on, punishing blizzards beset us. Behind the peaks we glimpsed the grim and frostbitten face of the cold sun. I lost 5 of my party to the smothering cloak of Yonish Cold Sun. We are being raided by the Tor Ashday. There are 9 chariots with another 108 on foot. Luckily, our patrol spotted them, and 13 swords and 71 of our bows met them. Yadakan noted that the Tor Ashday chief was daring in battle, and his clan disrespected our might. We might feel emboldened to use riskier tactics. Again, we'll go to drive them off. Magical ritual, we'll do fire hoof. Again, we technically, like, in terms of numbers, we're stronger than it looks, but I will bring our horses in. As our priest completed the ritual, the hooves of the horses began to spark as they pranced about, ready to attack. As we performed our ritual, so did the Tor Ashday. Magical flames appeared on the wheels of their chariots. Okay, so that kind of cancels each other out. We'll start with a skirmish. Our skirmishers fired only half-heartedly at the Tor Ashday, dismayed by their war bells. So we'll continue skirmishing. Tor Ashday rushed us before he'd loose more than a few volleys. Decide the fate of disabled foes, nearly a dozen Tor Ashada warriors have been temporarily blinded by Elmal's dazzling light. The sun god has obviously responded to our war priests, and we will attack them. We struck down 10 of our foe, praising Elmal. Other Tor Ashday rushed to the fallen, cursing us. So we don't know the relative skill, and I didn't see a leader appear, so I am going to conserve strength. What I am a little worried about, though, is that conserving strength against a fierce fight may not be a good combo. Well, shows what I know. They tried to press the attack, but we held firm. We gained the upper hand. Yadakin said that it was hard to tell if their war leader was more capable, so we will continue to conserve. They tried to fight cleverly, but they were not clever enough. Victory now seemed close, so again, we will continue to conserve. Oh, they pushed it back. They pressed their attack, and we fell back slightly. We'll continue to conserve, and we fell. We were surprised by the risky attacks. It was soon over. It was a terrific fight. Their magic dazzled many of our warriors. We were so disorganized that we had to give way. The Torashte made off with 24 cows and 2 horses. With their careful attention, our auxiliaries kept 2 warriors from dying and bandaged 7 of the wounded. Foreigners who say that they are from the Orvisi clan mock you. Though they don't speak, you don't speak their tongue, and they don't speak yours, they've adapted rudimentary trade talk language to include a colorful variety of mocking insults, all aimed at you. They flaunt their scant fear of your military might. If they keep doing it, your reputation for weakness may well spread. So casting the Dullblade Curse will make it harder for us to call on Elmel's war magic for a while. Mockery doesn't make it harder to trade, but it doesn't make it easier either. We're nowhere near as strong as them. Let's rile those thick necks, the ram killers, against them. Of the divine curses, the one they are least likely attributable to us is the Green Eye, and the people who will lose in faith if we do nothing against the impertinent foreigners. The Vingot gang came across the ridge laughing. Elmel's flame leapt to its arrowheads. You know what? I think I am going to do the ram killers. Flaming Singers said that they did not need us to remind them about the hated rams. Yandala said that we should try to get better relations with them, or give them reason to fear us to get better responses from them in the future. Okay. I'm never going to get my clan mood back. Okay, I've already got a trade mission out, so I could try another raid. Or I could try some kind of exploration. Let's do a herd raid. Not them. Our raiders cannot find a place. Continue scouting. Yadakan found a place that was shallower than it looked and led his forces across. We managed to ride right into Jalenthi lands and bring home 29 cows without ever being noticed. Okay, and that brings us to the Sacred Time. So I think what I'm going to do before I get involved into another turn... Oh, actually, I guess I need to make my choices here. I think I'm going to call it there because I've actually hit sort of the time that I was planning on wrapping up. But I do want to do a little more time in this game as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock in my choices for this turn. And then what I'm going to do is we'll do a recap of things like the story of the group. We'll maybe do a couple of myths, and then we'll find someone to host. If I can find somebody with 6 ages, great. And if I can find somebody else, or if I can't find them, we'll find somebody enjoyable to watch. So Last year, 15 babies were born. We initiated 2 children as adults. The clan has 6 fewer people, 46 more head of cattle, and no more horses than we did last Sacred Time. Well, at least we've stopped the losses. Our crafters produced 33 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 68 cows worth of goods. Maintaining our shrines took 20 cows and goods worth 40 cows. The Bowl of Unity provided a point of clan magic. The seers heard metal ringing in the distance, but could not tell if it was bells or swords. We are known for finding secrets Hyalor left before he died, and Raven gifted us with magic, and Ernost showed up with an all-black horse which he claimed was really Raven in disguise. Pasture's magic will help us raise more livestock. We are getting short of horses, cows, and goats. Ritual magic will make it easier to ask Akarna and other gods to share some of their mysteries. Circle members represent their deities. We can conduct more crop rituals because Ioga worships Nandala. Often it is better to concentrate our magic in a few areas. Of course, they are all useful. Our prestige within rider clans is fair. They are not impressed by our small herds. Unfortunately, no other clans believe the Sinala revelation, and leave a little in reserve. This can help boost. Okay, so fields, pastures for sure. Let's put some into ritual. And actually, I think I'm going to put war and health. Actually, war, health, and crafts. It's a little more than I was expecting to spend, but I like these choices. The most ominous phenomena perplexes us all. We keep hearing a creaking or groaning from the sky. It is not just the sound of thunder, but something far more troubling. Our caravan is back from the Blue Crests. The Blue Crest traders were pleased to receive the first caravan we'd sent to them. We traded 79 cows worth of goods. That's a lot. For less than a season's worth of food and trade and 10 horses. Well, I mean, every horse I can get is better, but... we cannot afford to make up the proper sacrifices to Gamari, and our shrine has fallen into disrepair. Currently maintaining our shrines and temple takes 20 cows and 40 cows worth of goods each year. I'm assuming the trade sank us for that. We received troubling news. The Black Death has visited the Nar Onani, killing many of them. We can only hope the plague doesn't spread. We've sent a trader to every rider clan in the valley. This will help our trade not just with them, but with all local clans. It should now be possible to establish another regular trade route. Okay, that's actually very good to know. So, before we finish for tonight, again, I'm going to stop making decisions for now. We are sitting at 221 commoners, 202 children, 18 warriors, 25 nobles, for a total of 466. Our wealth is 393 cattle, 786 goats, and 177 horses. We're currently suffering from basically, we've got a little bit of every bad thing. Cooler climate, food yield shortfall, and grazing stress. And 13 goods. So we have grazing stress because of the many years of grazing. Our food stockpiles are acceptable, but we will probably be eating more than we produce over the coming year. Over the years, our pastures have become overgrazed, and with the longer winters, they won't recover. We should establish another permanent trading route. This would be easier if we found some exotic goods. Our market will likely make a profit of 65 cows worth of goods this year. We should trade for more cattle. We don't have enough, and it's making it harder to feed the clan. And our crafters should make about 47 cows worth of goods in the coming year. Okay. So we've been through two chiefs. Let's do lore. You know, I'm going to do a few of these now. So we've got Busanari finds the light. In terms of detail, I think we might have actually done up to here, but I think what I'll do, I'm going to try to go all the way down to Asara and Verilos. There's going to be a lot of reading for this, but the mythology is kind of neat. So Busanari finds the light. When the Emperor dies, the cow mother's golden enclosure loses its safety, and the pasture her daughters depend on turns dry and brittle. She leads her daughters south towards a new light and a new people prepared to protect her. Busanari cow mother lived in a golden pen with her many daughters. Each day the Emperor would come and lead Busanari out of the pen into a pasture of the greenest grass, made for her by the Empress. Busanari and her daughters would eat this grass, which was sweet and rich, until the Emperor grew tired and had to go to bed. At this time, he would lead her back into her golden pen, which enveloped Busanari's kin in comfortable warmth. In exchange for these boons, the sweet grass, the warm pen, Busanari fed the emperor and his household. In those days, people did not drink milk for sustenance, instead preferring a rejuvenating mead. But they did eat beef. Busanari selected the daughters who would join in imperial feasts. When they were done, the emperor's servants would gather up all the bones and, after making soup, of course, would bring them to Busanari in her pen. Busanari would sing the long, slow song, and in the morning she would have calves, new daughters, to replace the ones who had done their duty the night before. Occasionally, Busanari would hear a rumpus in the far distance. On occasion, when the sounds grew close, Busanari's daughters came to her and said, "Can we truly trust the emperor to keep us safe?" Busanari sang them the calming song, which was then called "Let the Emperor Worry About What Lies Beyond the Fields," and so they settled down. Over time, these disturbances grew more and more frequent. One night, when the emperor came to lead her back into the pen, Busanari saw that he was covered with dark splotches. This had never happened before, so she asked him what they were. "Bruises," he said. "They're what you get when a fist or a weapon strikes you, but do not trouble yourself. These troublemakers are but winds blowing harmlessly." Busanari ruminated upon this, and saw that if times were growing tougher, the need for calm and courage had grown along with it. So when her daughters came to her with fear in their hearts, she altered her calming song, and it became, "It is for the emperor to fight and for us to stay brave," and once more they settled down. But one day when Yelm returned to escort her back to the pen, Busanari saw what he was trying to hide from her, rips in his flesh. Now she sang her calming song to the emperor, and it became, "Share your worries, and they will dwindle." "Those winds are stronger than I thought," Yelm confessed. "Still, the emperor is the emperor, and so they cannot prevail." Busanari ruminated upon this surprising turn of events until she perceived a new calming song. When her daughters came to her, worried, she sang, "Fear of what has yet to happen does no one any good," and again they settled down. One day the emperor did not return at all. Instead, the grassy fields plunged suddenly into darkness, and no one came to lead Busanari's daughters home. She waited for a long time, but the air grew cold, and not so far away she saw hungry creatures prowling. They leapt upon one of her daughters, dragging her away. Busanari understood that the creatures would not bring back this daughter's bones, preventing her from being created anew. This sounds really appropriate for where I'm at right now. Before the creatures could take more of her daughters, Busanari rounded them up. She sang a new song. Now is the time to gather ourselves. She became the one to lead them home. Morning took a long time to come, and when it did, it was not in the form of the emperor, but his son, who introduced himself as Elmal. He led her out to the pasture to introduce himself to the new empress. Busanari recognized her as Nyalda, and attended upon the previous empress. Together, the two entered an earthen mound, where they realized that they had been sisters the whole time. The new emperor was as good as his word, or nearly so. Wolves and other creatures occasionally took her daughters, but when the survivors came to her, she sang, "The new way is hard, but we will persevere." Over time, the patch of grass became even smaller, its edges turned brown, encroached upon by ice. Then one day the young emperor did not come back. Busanari's daughters wondered if he had died like his father, but since the sky had not entirely darkened, she reckoned that he had gone off somewhere. Busanari led her people to the pasture and looked for the empress, but did not find her either. The grass had never been worse, dry and tasteless and dwindling. Busanari sang the song that she had long prepared, called now, "The Moment Has Come." It drew her daughters around her, and they set off toward the greatest warmth. As her song said, this was south, the right direction. She headed that way until she found the horse goddess, Gamari. "Take me to the young emperor," Busanari said. He went to find a new brightness, Gamari answered. "Then take me to his new household," Busanari said, "so that we may calm and feed his warriors, and that he may protect us." Gamari agreed, but warned Busanari that Elmal's people were embarked together on a long journey. Busanari saw that Gamari had joy in wandering. "Give me a fraction of it," she said, "so that my daughters might take it and embrace a life without pens, where you simply keep moving from one pasture to the next." As Gamari did this and went with Busanari to find her partner, Hyalor, chieftain of the raiders. "Where have you been?" the frantic, hungry riders said. "Coming to you," she said, and Busanari sang her newest calming song, "Home is wherever we are." Dostal and the Snow Elk. During the Exodus, the riders must learn to hunt. Dostal takes 4 young men on a journey to hunt the snow elk, in which they learn cardinal lessons of quiet, memory, willingness to wander, and ruthlessness when needed. I really love the expression on the snow elk. The Karnar's 4 trades. During the Exodus, the people find themselves in need of goods. Ikarna shows them that the benefits of trade go beyond the immediate. Again, I really like the art style for this one. The writing is also very good. There's a description of sort of this tapestry that we have in our camp. And just the description of it is really it really provokes some thoughts and some images. Elmal guards the sun path. After the murder of Yelm, darkness envelops the world. Elmal battles many usurpers' sons to preserve the road from which his father warmed the land. He learns the words he must speak to keep them at bay. Irissa denies her suit. Oh yes, I've done this one before actually. This is the one where death keeps coming by. So I'm going to skip that one over just because I have a better memory of that one. I actually think Hippogriff Reborn I'll probably remember as well too. This is kind of interesting because we've seen this image before in the on the ritual that we went off. When the god Hippogriff falls to earth and has her wings eaten off by a troll, Hyla rescues her, revealing her new self and purpose as Gamari Horsemother. So, you know, think I've read this one as well because we obviously did rather well on the... Okay, so actually this tells me something rather important, that the... So I think I got quite lucky in the fact that I read this one. So they don't directly connect the names of the stories to the rituals that you do, that you actually need to read these, and there's a visual cue, but it doesn't immediately tell you, hey, connect these things. I actually rather like that approach because it's not just that you... Excuse me. It's not just that you brainlessly click button. Like, you actually need to invest something in this world and its ways to be able to make some progress. So... this is neat. Gamari Horsemother used to be a hippogriff, a winged goddess who flew around the world in the company of Yamsur, a brother of Elmal. Hippogriff and Yamsur, then called Yamsur the Splendid, called no one place home, but if they did, it would be a faraway green lushness known as Jenert's Garden. They distinguished themselves in many gods' war battles. Yamsur flickered hot, always saw to it that his exploits were well noticed, and took his pleasures with the same zest he showed in combat. Sometimes his appetites would take him to Nivera, the city guarded by a steady Elmal. In her comradely love for Yamsur, Hippogriff did not see that she too would one day bear the brunt of his inconstancy. It happened first when they fought a bullying ram, Stormbull. When Yamsur rushed to battle lesser foes he could more impressively defeat, Stormbull tore Hippogriff's fangs from her mouth. This is actually an interesting one, so now that I think about it, so I've never chosen Stormbull, but the outcome's usually been pretty good if I go after the troll. It happened again when Yamsur offended Marangor the Earthshaker, and Gamari paid the price. Marangor broke Hippogriff's legs and crushed her bronze claws. Yamsur fashioned hooves for her afterwards and said that he would never let her down again. But when they were visiting Elmal City, where Yamsur said the finest women dwelt, the troll god Zorak Zoran burst up from below. He devoured a grain house, a herd of cows, and a battalion of warriors. Elmal and Yamsur fought him, but when he gored Yamsur, Yamsur flickered away. Hippogriff tried to follow, but Zorak Zoran seized her, tearing off her golden wings. He threw her aside to die. Elmal pursued him through the streets, into the fields, and into the wood, until the troll finally plunged into the ground, where Elmal could not follow. So actually, I guess that is still the right choice. It was not Yamsur the Splendid, but a mortal who went to Hippogriff's side. This was Hyalor, who saw that she would never be who she was, and whispered into her ear a new way for her to be. Maddened by pain, she could not see it, so he climbed on her back to calm her. She bucked and writhed, shrieking in fury over her abandonment by Yamsur. Hyalor held on to her, staying on her back until she accepted his tenacity. If she wanted a loyal son to follow, Hyalor told her, she would find it not in Yamsur, but in his patron Elmal. In exchange for this, she would receive the protection of a new tribe. Its gods would defend her from attack. Its people would tend to her offspring. She would no longer be able to fly as a matter of course, but would gain dominion over the surface. The partnership between horse and man would grant her greater influence over the course of events than any adventures she could get up to with the so-called splendid god. The divine Hippogriff never entertained the possibility of receiving mortal worship. Other gods had done so, but it always seemed a burden to her, a rein on her freedom. Now she saw the necessity of this moment, understanding that the bull god, the earth beast, and the troll had shorn away the parts of her that obscured the full truth of her being. I am no longer Hippogriff, she thought. You are no longer Hippogriff, said Hyalor. I shall rename myself Gamari, so I will rename you Gamari, Hyalor said, and I will change everything. And you will change everything. And that she did. She showed this right away by performing the birthing miracle, drumming with her hooves on a receptive earth. From the meadow on her left sprang a herd of strong stallions. From the one on her right arose a herd of silky mares. Then she performed the riding feat, which she gave us the right to ride these fine horses, as Hyalor had ridden her. Some city warriors opposed to Hyalor haughtily refused this gift. This cursed them, so they later had to become wheels, sending their god Samnal the thief to raid Gamari's herd. The chariot Samnal made imprisoned their drivers and their stolen horses alike. Gamari proved her loyalty to Elmal. When the demon army came, she rode around them so many times that General Yurlaka lost all but 2 of his heads. During the Exodus, she granted the Kumis gift, gifting us cheer against the cold and bravery against our many trials. Gamari never had cause to regret her transformation. She and Hyalor rode together across the earth until she died, and now ride together in the heavens. Nala and the Golden Brush. This looks like Eyes of Sin. After the destruction of the solar throne, the gods go hungry. Elmal and Nyalda discover that they have a daughter, Inilla. She confronts a new adversary, Yatello the Hunger Maker, finding ways to overcome him that do not require her father's weapons. I mean this in a good way. She's got a very nice kind of nature-loving avatar, and she knows a ridiculous amount about botany. Nyalda's bride price. In a darkening world, Nyalda realizes that the survival of her people depends on her finding the best husband. Although Elmal thinks he is winning her, she and her retinue ensure that Nyalda is winning him. Ladies? Alright, I think I said I was going to finish up at Osara and Verlardo. Elmal's eldest son and daughter go forth into the world to prove themselves. She proves herself a hero, he proves himself a fool. When he gets himself into a dreadful trap, she confronts her greatest temptation, to leave him in it. Snowflakes struck Osara and Verilo as their father Elmal led the riders from the Golden City, which has been suffocated by an ice shroud. While in the city, both had been exemplars of obedience. Osara, the goddess of daughters, Verlaro, god of the common man. According to Elmal's favored mortal, Hyalor, things would have to be different in their new wild existence. Freedom was the word now, not obedience. So they decided that they would have to prove themselves in new ways and rode off together, ahead of the others, to do just that. Obedience was boring anyway, Verlaro said. Freedom is not about pleasure, Osara thought. It requires more discipline, not less. It requires more discipline, not less. But her brother seemed happy, so she did not trouble him with this contradiction. They rode until they came upon the sinister cold sun and his favored mortal, Stakar. These wintry adversaries quickly hid a white blanket, so Verlaro figured that it had to be a treasure. With club in hand, he charged them, seeking its blessing of a peaceful sleep. He too easily captured it from them, and would have wrapped himself in it and slept forever had Osra not been there to tear it from his back. Her arrows blazed for the first time, and she used them to slay Stakar and drive the cold sun back to his northern land. Verlaro promised that he would not fall for that trick again, but he still liked a good snooze. To spare her brother's feelings, Asura did not say what she was thinking. They rode further still until they came upon the wild ram god Ovadorudus and his favored mortal Thengist. These wild-blooded enemies pretended to hide a skin of mead. Verlo said that he would redeem his previous folly by grabbing it and taking it back to their father. But once he had done so, he decided to taste a little of it. Osara slapped the skin from his hand, but not before he quaffed a mouthful of poison and slumped from his saddle. Ovadorudus and Thengist ambushed them. Flames wreathed Osara's spearhead for the first time. She seared Thengist's flesh, causing Ovadorudus to scorn him. When he woke, Verlaro said that he was much smarter now, and there were 2 tricks that he would never fall for again. But he did still like a good drink. This time Osara said part of what she was thinking. If Verlaro kept this up, people would sing about him in stories and tell of him in tales, but no longer seek him for worship. Verlaro said that was fine with him. Granting blessings was a lot of work. They rode as far as any rider had ever gone before, until they came upon their evil brother Samnal, who had thrown in his lot with the hated wheels, along with his favored mortal Goldtalon. Arms wide, Samnal called out as if he was happy to see them. "Welcome! Join my people and resume your proper places. Osara, you need not strain yourself carrying the weapons of a man. Verlaro, shelter yourself from the dangers of the trail." Now that her arrows and spear blazed, Osara had no intention of quelling them. But Verlaro, who had always yearned for his haughty older brother's respect, rushed forward. Samnal slapped him in golden chains. He will slave hard for the nobles of the wheel. Osara saw that she too was tempted, not by the chance to be a quiet, obedient daughter again, but by the urge to leave Verlaro in Samnal's hands. She even turned and rode away. But as soon as she did, she understood how wrong it was. Osara turned around, and for the first time, fire sprang from her sword. She dashed Goldtalon's chariot to bits and put out Samnal's right eye. She dug the tip so deep into his skull that the burnt eye would not grow back for nearly a year, until fire season came round again. Freed from his chains, Verlaro wept. He was as smart as he could be, now that all of life's 3 tricks had been revealed to him, but he still wished Samnal would be a righteous brother again. When they got back to camp, Elmel saw that Osara had changed. He said riders would now petition her for a share in her strength and smarts. As her father, he knew that she was ready for the added responsibility. "Sounds like a lot of work," Verlaro said as he drank a skin of kumis and crawled under a blanket, but not before embracing his father and sister and declaring his love for them. As Verlaro snored, Elmal told Osara a secret, one he himself had learned but recently. Verlaro was right about one thing. Leadership surely was a lot of work. Not when it came to helping the great achieve their greatness. Not when it came to helping the great achieve their greatness. That was already in them. Protecting the stubborn and thick-witted and flawed. Now that was the hard part. But you did it, because they were the ones who needed to be led. I really do like these stories. I kind of regret I missed them the first couple of times just because I didn't quite I knew there was a lore screen, but I actually didn't quite realize that it worked the way that it did. The game did say, here you do get stories, you need to know them, and so on and so forth, but I didn't I sort of thought it was when you got stories, you read them, and it turns out there's other details about the world, so I need to play a lot of catch-up. But I am particularly liking these stories. I think I've lucked out a little bit in the fact that the Hippogriff Reborn story was the one that I needed to get horses, so it's the only one that I've gone on. But in a future stream, what I might even do for my preamble, I might maybe read Raven and Hyalor, because I do want to know what else is going on about Raven. Raven seemed to be a negative feature, but there seem to be some uses for him. But I also want to do more of history and culture. Let's actually take a quick minute at the Star Dancer story tent. Do we have a long... Ooh. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. So, what the story tent says: the history of our people as woven into the story tent, from events before we had horses to to our glorious city cavalry, from the departure from the golden city of Nivera through 10 generations of Exodus to our arrival here in the valley. We began to weave the pieces of our story tent soon after we left the city of Nivara, so that we could see and remember the history of our people. Hyalor was still with us then. He said that he wouldn't always be around to tell us what had happened when he was young, and each of the 7 families of what was then the one clan had different tales to remember, ones that went back to long before he was born. It was Stotstunak, priest of Relidar, who rode to the sky and came back with a message. We would need a home for our ancestors. In the Golden City, we had not needed to ask questions of our long-gone forebears. Instead, when we went to a marble mausoleum, we revered their glory only. As Hyalor readied us to ride out, Stotstunak performed a great ritual to change this. He coaxed our ancestors from their urns, his voice thrumming deep with a new song. The ice comes soon. It will freeze you. It will crush your urns. It will scatter your ashes. So leave them behind. Leap into these threads, which the women are weaving. They will bind you to us. You will recognize this as a version of what we sing when we call upon them for a blessing. An urn was a special jar in which to bury the ashes of the dead, as part of Stotsunak's rite, which we switched to burying them in funeral dolls woven from the same fabric as the story tent. And our ancestors, including Varys the Rain and Dalasha the Keen and Dunradin the Chariot Breaker, agreed to come with us and inhabited the emblems, which is why in sacred time they seem to ripple and shift. This first emblem, way at the top, still contains a portion of their essence, though this is not the emblem woven at that time, but one made later during the last split. It depicts an old battle, the clash at Weeping Field, where we fought the Usankari and destroying them all. Though we imagine ourselves fighting all our wars on horseback, this took place in an earlier day, back when we fought on foot with outstretched spears. Next come the emblems of the cavalry era, after we transformed into warriors from horseback, defending the rights and interests of the Golden City. They started to call us Hylorings because it was Hyalor, then still a man, who taught us how to worship Gamari Horsemother. You have heard tales of Hyalor's emergence, the taming of Hippogriff, and the treachery of Samnal many times before, and you will hear them many times again. Here you see the emblems marking great battles against the trolls, and the power that we gained against them by swearing ourselves as eternal enemies. So this seems to be kind of a more elaborate version of the story we did in our clan creation. Gradually, as the background of the emblems changes, as the cold sun edges closer, bringing with it the glacier, gold threads grow scarcer and white and blue take over. They mark the moment when we could no longer deny the necessity of exodus. Here you see us packing the sky-gazing statue of Busarayan, along with his most sacred scrolls. This series of emblems shows the preparations of Hyalor and the other cavalry commanders, and the battles with those fools who tried to keep us trapped in a dying city. They show the great departure and the hard but glorious time when all riders belonged to one clan, led by Ostalar. Descended from Hyalor, advised by Hyalor, he glowed with Elmel's fire as he led the fight against Yenfar the Capturer. Yenfar, who swore to eliminate Hyalor and his line, worshipped neither sky nor storm. Instead, he made a people from nothing and called them the Sorcery Tribe. This is when the god Ikarna first showed us that she had bartered for the trade rune. See how she demonstrates this by arranging an exchange of goods between two sides hostile to each other, the cold dwarves of Nida Mountain and the hot jungle folk of Garrent's Garden. The second generation is the generation of enemies. Thengis the Ram and Goldtalon the Charioteer rise up and try to smash us. Each commits slaughters against us, but righteous fire of Elmel burns the first. Hyalor's wise counsel guards us against the second. Here, where the green backgrounds of the first two Exodus generations give abruptly way to a red thread, we reach the Great Split, where one clan became four, led by the ruthless Stelfor, who went west, clever Zenengar, who went east, Nameforgot, who stayed put just outside the glacier's reach, and our ancestor Basikan, who rode south. This is the time This is the part of the tent that shows us going to war against each other for the first time. You see Basikan finding many treasures and launching frequent sallies into the gods' war, gaining power there to fend off Stelfor's violence and Zenengar's tricks. The Warring Chieftain generation ends with the humiliation of Nameforgot and the luckless northern riders. Next comes the travel generation, where we spread out further than before and can no longer say we know all the doings of all other riders. Many inhuman foes beset us at this time. Then comes a gap in the 10th story. You can see the cuts where our great-great-grandmothers tore away emblems from the Madness generation so that they would not infect our dreams. After those empty spaces, you see the emblems representing the healing generation, where Orisa priestesses perform the greatest deeds. It cleared the way for the Fast Foals generation, where again our clan split. Families struck out on their own, not all at once, but as prudence allowed. After all was done, one story tent was carefully cut into the beginnings of 5 new ones, to be carried to new destinations. A winter generation followed, when frigid winds and deep snow made us fear that the glacier would overtake us. But then the chieftains of the rekindling generation went to the Gods of War to brighten Elmal, and the warmth came back, so this is something I want to keep an eye on. Our chief for most of this time, Gendarin, gave more of himself than any other, leaving his heart in the Skyhearth. The eldest among us remember those times, but soon we'll have only these emblems to go by. I recall the honey generation, as do all of our elders. This is the part of the tent that memorializes our deeds. Again, clans grew, celebrating that success by breaking up, spreading the influence of the successful bloodlines. Today, after 7 generations of the Horse Era in Nivera and 10 of Exodus, we continue to sew emblems into our tent. They mark the actions of your fathers and mothers, and soon will mark yours as well. They will be on the emblems of the Valley generation. May the choices you weave on its walls be glorious, stoking pride in both the spirits of your ancestors and the descendants yet unborn. So, I did say I was going to wrap up with this. There is one last thing I want to check. So we've got going to the Gods of War to brighten Elmal. So let's just take a quick look here at Ritual. Okay. Busanari Lightfinder might be an interesting one for the pastures. Yeah, Busanari Lightfinder actually seems like a reasonable choice. So, this was actually a rather interesting round. I think, definitely this one was a little bit easier to get through because I felt that on balance, like, it wasn't all winning, but there was a little bit more of a balance between good and bad. I'm not entirely sure we're necessarily better off than we were when we started. I feel like I understand the game a little bit better, and that's been true every time that I've played it. Generally, we are still in bad shape. Our morale is definitely worse than we started. The best I can really say in terms of our resources is that we've stopped the bleeding. We did end one of the conflicts. But overall, we're still in a precarious situation. But the nice thing is that sort of the constant trend downward has sort of stopped. And I can now potentially make a comeback in a future stream. But again, as always, this is a fun one. It's fun because especially because I have no idea where it's going. And I get to read interesting stories. I get to make some management decisions. I feel a little bit bad that I didn't do the specific details in terms of the dialogue and whatnot. Like I kind of brushed over a few of them in order to make some advances. But again, I like this, and I hope you guys are interested in it too. Plans for the next week. I'm going to try and record a Morrowind episode this weekend. I've gotten a little bit better at doing them earlier, but it would be nice if I could get them done on Saturdays. We'll see if that happens. It's been a while since I've been able to do weekend casts, and that's mostly because I record VOD stuff. Incidentally, I know it's bad to say this at the end. There's a weird thing that happened, which was YouTube actually outpaced the growth of the stream for the first time. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to switch to YouTube or anything like that, but I am a little curious among the Twitch viewers. You don't have to answer right away, but if there's something that would get you sharing the stream with more people, or things that would keep you coming back. Again, it's hard to ask that at the end of a stream, because obviously the people who wanted to watch long enough, that would, these are not the people who are necessarily going to say that. But I'm curious if there's something that I can do a little bit differently, or if there's something that I used to do and that you would enjoy seeing more of. I always take statements under advisement, and generally things that are more respectfully stated will be listened to more than just, assertions. But I am actually particularly in a moment where I'm a little more inclined to shifting things around a bit. So if there's something that would work better for you, let me know. And what else? Monday, we're back to Age of Wonders Planetfall. I think Wednesday and Friday, I've got a couple of new things to show off. So I'll try and do 6 Ages if I can, but realistically, I have a feeling that I'm probably going to have to meet a couple of other obligations. So my current plan is we'll wrap up 6 Ages as it is, as I have the opportunities that come by. I'll get through the stuff that I need to do, and then my next 6 Ages playthrough, like the next session that I open, I'm going to dedicate, and it'll be a few streams in a row that I do, because I would like to do a proper, sit down, okay, now that I figured out the game, let's just tell a story here moment. So this one will still probably be a little jarring, but of course, if ever people want to know what's going on, there's a recap button. Now, I've extended my goodbye, so let's just take a quick minute here. I'll see if anybody's playing 6 Ages, or I'll see if anybody else is... So let's just take a quick minute. Just going to take a quick minute here and see if there's anybody else streaming it. Oh, sadly, there's no other streamers, so let's see who else I can... Yeah, no problem, Ego Karen. I'm glad that you could hang out for a little bit more. I sometimes feel like I should probably be streaming long until you go to bed, but I'm glad you got some time here. It's always nice to have you in chat. It's nice to have everybody in chat. I always appreciate the concurrent views. So I think I'm going to host Elegy again. So again, Elegy is a bigger streamer. I don't know them particularly well, but they're definitely very friendly whenever I hang out. I may not be here a whole lot because I have a few other things I need to get out of the way, and if I get those out of the way, I'll be able to do some of the other things I had planned for the weekend, like recording Morrowind episodes. But feel free to hang out. He's currently playing Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which I know is a bit of a fan favorite. So I'll send off that host, and I'll wish you all a lovely evening. Thanks. You stayed awake to hear me read the lore, otherwise you would already be sleeping. All right, well, enjoy your bedtime story, you go, Karen. I will find, now that I know you like the lore, I'm going to make sure when I see you in chat, I will read some more of that. Anyways, guys, have fun in Elegies. We'll see you next time, and yeah, have a good one.